Here we are. Welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 8th of December. We have a show for you.
Off the chain, baby.
It's going to be off the chain now. But before we do a thing, I'm going to have to hear from you people in the chat because we are using a new system and I need to make sure that everything is okay. I need to show you guys it's not just a monitor is a monitor. That's not the point. Let's see if I can get the whole system here.
So guys, we have a pretty fly setup here now, thanks to one of our viewers who sent us a donation. So we didn't get the best of the best. We got good. We got really good. So we got a gaming computer. So
you can't really see it here. It's giant. It's like the monitor is like, I don't know, like this much of the television. It's so huge. That picture doesn't do it justice. But I want to make sure that the mic is working, that everything is up and up.
So what you guys have proved to us and what you guys have shown us is that you really do care about the quality that we bring you, and you want to up the game, and we want to up our game. So
Edward had sent us a system.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out. So I don't want to throw that. I hope Ann doesn't mind. I'm going to list the name. Ann sent the money for the computer. Edward actually sent a computer. And so I don't want to, that computer didn't work out. It got damaged in shipping, and it was going to kind of cost us more to repair it. And Edward doesn't live in town. So still it really touched our heart that he was willing to send this computer that he built with his son. Yeah. And it was just such a huge, huge deal. So I want you to know, Edward, that we value that. So
definitely. Thank you.
Everything seems good to me, says Curious Man. So that being said, Leah's going to move on to this, and I'm going to move on to sharing and everything like I used to be able to do.
And you guys are right there, and I can see you. So hello from South Carolina.
I can actually make that a little bit bigger.
All right. Well, South Carolina, I need you. I need everyone with a Republican Attorney General and a Republican Secretary of State, whatever state you're in. I'm going to tell you, these are the numbers I'm calling tomorrow. Ohio Secretary of State, 1-877-767-6446. I'm on the phone as soon as I can. I'm calling my Attorney General, David Yost, 1-800-282-0515. I'm telling them, what do I want them to do? I want them to join Texas. I want them to join Texas.
Yes.
As they challenge the election directly at the Supreme Court. Now, I was excited because somebody had posted that the Supreme Court had docketed this case. Now, this case from Texas is basically, if I'm going to sum it up in Texas talk, you guys have issues in a few of these states.
Yeah.
Big issues. Fraud issues. You did not follow your own state constitution for this election, and by golly, your votes are not going to water down my votes, because we are a constitutional republic.
Yes.
And if you mess up your electors, then you mess up my electors. Okay? Little known fact, maybe you did know, Texas had a hard time joining this here union. They still believe in parts of Texas that they are their own country.
Right.
Okay? And one of those qualifications of Texas joining our union is that they would have electoral votes that would count towards the president of this United States.
I love it.
Okay? Now, is it a long shot? Is it a Hail Mary? Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Okay? But you got a quarterback who knows what he's doing, and you got a running back who is running, and they're going to catch that ball. I don't know what's going to happen in between this play. Okay? Here comes Patriot Alley. But I know this.
And she's running the ball.
That Patriot Alley will run in the end zone, baby. She running in the end zone. I saw her. This is how she do.
She was holding.
This is how she do. She know how to do. She know how to do. All right. That's awesome. She know how to do. All right. So here's the thing. It's one of those moments where it was a satanic attack.
Yeah.
And guys, it's like, Leah, I don't want you to get my hopes up. Honey, child, we have to stay hopes up, honey. If there is a little bit of hope, then we grasp onto, we eating it all night. Okay? We got hope, but we don't just have a little hope. We got a big hope, because this is not the Lone Star State. We got 6 or 7 states, maybe 8 states who have either joined Texas or have affirmed Texas. Okay?
Right.
Now I'm going to go over who's who. Arkansas, a really strong statement. Alabama joined. By golly, I'm going with Texas. This is so amazing. It feels like a moment. They are throwing down, okay? Now, today I was all excited. And as the Flynn say, you got to take the 24-hour rule on anything that's negative.
And we did this today.
So I was so excited because Twitter said Supreme Court docketed the case, which doesn't necessarily mean they'll take it, but it means they'll take it. Okay, everybody was like, we were tweeting out, the Supreme Court's taking the case. The Supreme Court's taking the case.
We were sitting down here in front of the fire getting ready for the show a little bit ago. We were talking about it, and Leah was saying this to me just like this, and I looked at her and I said, if 9 states have signed on, and they haven't, Leah's going to get to that in a minute, but if 9 states are joining, they can't not hear it. It's the Supreme Court. Like, you can't not hear. And Leah looked at me, and she was about to say something, and she goes, no, you're right. They can't.
They can't. They can't. So, what happened is in a setback, okay, because we had high hopes on the Parnell Kelly case before the Supreme Court. Alito said, I need to hear from Pennsylvania Supreme Court today by 9. And the Supreme Court decided not to grant emergency injunction. So in certifying the election results.
Right.
Now, I thought that they would easily, because there was a female judge who said, well, you're going to win this case.
Exactly.
You're going to win this case. This isn't easy. This is open and shut. So I thought, and no one dissented. And so here I'm going to throw out my own hope. This is my hope conspiracy theory. Is that Supreme Court looked at Texas's case versus Sean's case, recognizing that they're going to have to decide one of these cases. So what the devil did was the devil came out and said SCOTUS denied both.
Yeah.
Right, like that. It was a very calculated satanic attack, and it was trending over there on Twitter. Okay? It was designed, all of this is designed to demoralize us. Why is there such a campaign, satanic, spiritual, media, and government campaign to demoralize us? To take our hope away.
Because they know if they can do that, it's like Nehemiah with that Tobias and Sanballat. If you never read the Bible, never read that book before, they kept trying to get at him and kept trying to get him. And Nehemiah's like, no, I'm not going to meet with you. You know, you're going to send a letter. Okay, I'm not listening to you because I've got work to do, and I cannot allow your words that are like daggers to come in, because that's why the mainstream media has tried to take over. That's why there is this massive push, because they know that if you get in faith, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. Absolutely. So it doesn't matter. You got to shut off everything. Absolutely. Okay, if Newsmax and One American News Network even start going downhill, shut them down. Yeah, they're doing good so far. I'm just saying.
I spoke with a friend of mine today, and this is the moment of the prophet. Yeah. Michelle, put the link in there. Maybe you bring it up, play a little bit of it. I always forget the guy's name, but he is Trey something, and he does the Kim Clement prophecies. And maybe you guys have heard of it, that Donald Trump would serve 2 terms, and that he would come in whispering God's name, but he would go out shouting his name. We have heard these prophecies, and when we read Bible stories, it's so easy to be like, oh, I would have been David. I would have been David. Everybody else was so afraid of them Philistines, but I would have been David. I would have got me some stones, and I would have just taken him down. No, right? You would not have, okay? But that's because David had the power of God. David had the Spirit of God. He would spend time outside with the Holy Spirit. And he would and with the sheep, okay? And we have this wonderful thing. It's called salvation. And we can all be David. That's all good. Of us. Every single one of us. So if one can put 1,000 to flight, and 2 can put 10,000 to flight, then a 3-cord strand is not easily broken.
That's so good.
And we have more than one David in this country. And every time I think about this, I get goosebumps. I know the power of God. I know what it feels like. But there are so many of us, and it is time for the Christians to arise. And it is Christians who are rising up to the moment. And you're seeing the real Christians from the fake Christians. And one of the things in this this letter that Kim Clement had written in 2006 describes exactly what we're going through. So when you're done listening to me, I want you to listen to this whole thing, because Kim Clement said exactly what we're saying right now, and he said it in 2006. He said that something would happen in a year, and it would be around the time Billy Graham's
I have to give
died.
props. Carrie, I don't know if she's here. Sometimes she's here live in the chat. Sent it to me.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Carrie. And we've had friends of ours take that and share it. It was done on the 4th. It's the times of these prophets. And the prophecy, the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. So I don't want you to think like, oh, prophet, prophet, prophet. When you're talking about Jesus, you're prophesying. Did you know that? Because Jesus is the spirit of prophecy, the testimony. When you're talking about Jesus, and when you talk about America, you're talking about Jesus. When you're talking about the Declaration of Independence, you're talking about Jesus. When you're talking about the Constitution, you're talking about Jesus. Okay? And so we're separating the true prophets, those who really prophesy and talk about Jesus, from those fake Christians. There are fake Christians everywhere. Okay, there's fake Christians in Georgia, and they haven't stepped up, but they can step up. They can come. They can have their own come to Jesus moments. All right, so I want to get into the details of this Texas challenge here. This is a Texas-sized Texas challenge. Let me just tell you, on Monday, and it was just so powerful. Just before midnight last night, the state of Texas filed a lawsuit that is far more important than all the others surrounding the presidential election November 3rd. Texas brought a suit against 4 states that did something they cannot do. They violated the U.S. Constitution, and in their conduct of the presidential election. Okay, guys, we are at a very pivotal junction in our country right now. It will only go one way, but if it were to go the other way, we would lose the republic.
Yeah.
Okay, we are at a junction, and the push. The spirit, and you guys watching me right now, you are part of history in the making. I want you to know that. This moment, 2020, will go down in infamy. And you just watching and your spirit tied with our spirits is the same 1776 spirit. Guys, people weren't wearing 1776 shirts 15, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. There's a whole 1776 United. Why? Because people were feeling that we are going to be in this moment. Okay, 1776 United. I have 1776 shirts out the wazoo here. I did. There's a website, and it's something. It's just a powerful moment, and we're not gonna need to do this again for a while. Okay, all right, we're not. But this is our moment, and we've been leading up to this, and you know it, and you're ready for it. Greatness is made in the fire, and you are being made in the fire right now.
J-Doc says, I do not understand where we stand legally. We are going to give that to you here on this show. That's why you're here.
Okay. Legally, I have no idea.
No, we do.
Let me just tell you. No, I don't know legally. Like,
we can give you what everyone else knows.
Exactly. I don't know exactly, but I can tell you what is happening. Okay.
Right, that's good.
Right now, Judge Alito, I don't know why, has denied emergency injunction for this Pennsylvania lawsuit that was filed by Senator Mike Kelly and a man running for Congress named Sean Parnell. Okay. They had a really strong case.
So strong that one judge that looked at it said, you're going to win this.
Exactly. For some reason, they denied emergency injunction, which would have overturned the results of the election, basically.
What would have stopped them from certifying?
But it's still on. They still could grant what's called cert, which is to be able to see the Supreme Court. Okay. Stranger things have happened in this life. All right.
Right.
So it's not a dead case. The balloon is losing a little air, but it's still got air. It still has helium. Okay. But what we're focusing on right now is
God bless Texas.
Texas, just before midnight last night, dropped the MOB, mother of all bombs. Okay. On 4 states.
Not only that, but they dropped the bomb, and then other states were like, "You dropping that bomb? Can I drop some bombs with you?"
I know. That's right.
They dropped the bomb. We can drop the bomb.
Right. And here's the thing, guys. This is something the Lord spoke to me. I put it on Twitter. I don't need the Supreme Court.
I said that to
God
a friend today.
is going to do this, but there is hope here. So we're bringing this to you because I don't care how the Supreme Court rules on this. I know God has already ruled on it.
Uh-oh.
Okay? So this case by Texas in the law of justice has already been won. I don't care what the Supreme Court says. My God does not need the Supreme Court, but he may use it.
No, he may allow them to side with him.
That's right.
I don't need you, but I might give you the chance to join my side.
So this case is alive. It's still kicking. Okay, these 4 states have until Thursday to respond to Texas. Okay? I don't know what's going to happen after that, but I know that I know mother of all bombs more evidence keeps here's the thing, the Democrats are trying to run out the clock, but what they don't recognize is the ball keeps still staying alive. Mm-hmm. And the longer the ball is alive, the more evidence comes out to the forefront. Okay? Things are still happening in Wisconsin. There's a hearing in Wisconsin. They're going to have their own, traveling circus. I like circuses. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. They're going to have their own on Friday with witnesses and everything. Okay. And that's just the legislature meeting. They have a cut and, dry case in Wisconsin, but we don't need them. But we do need to keep the game afoot. Because as the game is still afoot, then God keeps moving, and God keeps moving. And as long as here's the thing, this is what everybody's saying: hold the line. We win, and we're in pandemic today. We win if we hold the line.
Yeah,
we win if we hold the line. No matter what happens, if we don't give up, no matter if they shut every door in our face, we know the truth.
Yeah,
we know the truth. It doesn't matter what they say in the courts, but we have a chance here, so we're going to take it. Okay. All right. Texas brought a suit against 4 states that did something that the 4 states did something that they cannot do. They violated the U.S. Constitution in their conduct of the presidential election. This violation occurred regardless of the amount of the election fraud that may have resulted. The 4 defendant states are Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. I don't know about Arizona, Nevada. I don't know why they're included here, but Texas filed the suit directly to the Supreme Court. Article 3 of the Constitution lists a small number of categories of cases in which the Supreme Court has original jurisdiction. You only just go to the original jurisdiction. One of those categories concerns controversies between 2 or more states.
I can't even.
Here's the thing. If these people are seriously constitutionalists, they have to take this case up.
If there is a controversy between 2 or more states, we got some controversy between more than 2 states.
Do you want us to get the muskets out, or do you want to solve this here's the thing. I don't care what y'all do at the Supreme Court. You got to hear this, or we're getting our muskets out.
We're getting the muskets out. Does anyone own a musket?
Texas suit is exactly, and that's a joke, Facebook. I don't own a musket, okay? All right. I have a joke for that, but I'm not going to go. All right. Texas's suit is exactly that. The Supreme Court has opined in the past that it may decline to accept such cases at its discretion, but it is incumbent upon the High Court to take this case, especially when it presents such a cut and dried question of the constitutional law, and when it could indirectly decide who is sworn in as president on January 20th, 2021. Here's the thing. They took up whether Governor Cuomo could shut down churches or synagogues.
Come on now.
They have to take this case up, or what good are you? If you're not going to be a body that's going to decide constitutional controversies, you're done for anyways, and we don't need you.
You're done for anyways.
Okay?
I want to know, are we going to start taking bets for what other states are going to start joining on?
I don't know, but I'm calling Ohio. The Texas suit is clear, and it presents a compelling case. The 4 offending states each violated the U.S. Constitution in 2 ways. And here we go. First, they violated the electors clause of Article 2 of the Constitution when executive or judicial officials in the states changed the rules of the election without going through their state legislators. It's like, hey, wait a minute. This isn't fair. We're following rules. We're Republicans. How about we just randomly change the rules to suit Republicans? What if we just rule Democrats can't vote? Okay, come on. What if here's the thing. Absolutely unfair. The electors clause requires that each state shall appoint its presidential electors in such a manner as the legislature thereof may direct. And with all the mail-in ballot changes, they were literally changing the way these electors are chosen.
And I'll tell you something else that I learned from watching Life, Liberty, and Levin. I didn't know that in Pennsylvania, there are so many procedures that have to happen in order for them to change election law. It actually gets all the way down to after the legislature has voted on it and it passes all of that. That's huge. Then the people have to vote. That's big. You got to vote on if we're going to change, on how we're going to vote.
So remember, in the early years of our republic, up until about 1840, the legislators actually just appointed their presidential electors directly without the popular vote. That would change during the early decades of the 19th century, but the constitutional principle remained the same. Regardless of whether a state appoints its electors by a vote in the legislature or by the vote of the people, it is the state legislators and only the state legislators that sets the rules. Does the Supreme Court want to weigh in on changing the Constitution?
Right. Yeah, because that's really murky water there. It's kind of like we don't murk that water.
Here's the thing. People are like, oh, I don't want to overturn the results of election. Do you want to overturn the Constitution? Like, the Constitution is a very small document. You can put it in your pocket. There's only very few things in the Constitution that are cut and dry and specific.
Yes.
Okay?
This is one of them.
This is one of them. And I would love to argue this case before the Supreme Court.
Oh, speaking of which, so we were all excited because Ted Cruz, and I know I'm off here on a little rabbit trail, but Ted Cruz had agreed to argue the case in Pennsylvania before the Supreme Court. And then Alito was like, well, now we're just not going to do your, injunction, and everybody's kind of, the wind came out. So the question is, will Ted Cruz
join the state Texas
to argue, and that would still be pretty epic.
We'll see, because I was highly disappointed in Ted Cruz coming out saying I'm disappointed in the case but he obviously didn't read the whole thing because it was just emergency injunction. So if you're gonna be a good lawyer, you better read the whole document. All right, like Jenna Ellis read the whole document and tweeted out and said, "Wait a minute, this isn't over. We weren't denied." Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay. So, thus, when the Pennsylvania Supreme Court extended by 3 days the deadline for receiving mail-in ballots, contrary to the law passed by the state legislature, the state court changed the rules in violation of the electors clause. Listen, the Supreme Court should have heard Sean Parnell's case. They should have heard Senator Mike Kelly's case.
Right.
It's cut and dry. I don't care how the Supreme Court rules. They had you got the Dred Scott cases. You got bad rulings from the Supreme Court. I don't care if there's conservatives or not. They're daggum Jesuits. I don't know how they're going to rule in things, okay? How do you get two Supreme Court justices from the same school? I don't trust these people as far as I could throw them. Okay, yay, conservatives, whatever. They vote pro-life and maybe for some good churches. Will they uphold the Constitution? That's what I want to know. That's what we have to wait to see, right? But my point is this. My judge, I have gone to him. And I know how he has ruled, and I know how he will rule. Okay? I know that.
All of this is exactly what I said in my show the other day, and then you've reiterated. God's been kind of speaking to us the same things. God is literally giving people the opportunity
to step up.
And
Texas
expounded on that today. In conversations throughout the day, and then especially to our friend Barb, you were pretty much saying, listen, when you look at our founding fathers, we remember the John Quincy Adams. We remember the John Adams. We remember the George Washingtons. But there were so many other people during that time. Who do we remember? We remember the names that stepped out first. We remember the John Hancock that said, you know what? I'm not afraid of being doxxed. Watch me sign my name huge. Okay? I have goosebumps just saying that. Those are the kinds of people that are history makers, and so God right now is allowing this process.
You got like 10 people 10 days,
a chance.
10 days, 2 weeks. You got
to step out.
Whether you're going to be the hero.
Who's going to be the one that steps forward?
Who, when you open up your history books, is going to be the name that's bold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The bold name, because that's how you got whole sections on people with the bold names. Those are people you got to remember.
I
hope
Resistance Chicks is in there bold.
Okay, so right now we are storming the gates of justice, Lady Justice. We are storming it. And here's the thing. the first one through with our whatever our leaders are, or whoever gets through first. The rest of us are just going to rush right in, and everybody else is going to rush right in. But whoever goes through first gets the history book, gets the award, gets that you're the hero, blah blah blah.
Joshua and Caleb, you mentioned that today.
12 spies go to look at the land. God's like, I'm going to give you the land. 10 come back. We can't do it. They're too big. 2 say, of course we can do it. God said we can do it. We can do it. Joshua, Caleb.
Guess who got to be the leaders? Guess who got to replace Moses?
Name
those guys.
Name the other names. You can't name the other 10. You remember Joshua and Caleb.
Yeah, you do.
All right? Okay. So, thus, when the Pennsylvania Supreme Court extended by 3 days this deadline for the receiving of the mail-in ballots, contrary to the law passed by the state legislature, the state court changed the rules in violation to the Electors Clause. Cut and dry here. Cut and dry. Now, are our Supreme Court justices? I mean, this is so a sound constitutional argument as you will ever get. There's no other constitutional argument. I mean, like, people have, like, with freedom of speech and freedom of religion, those things are murky.
Right.
This is literally as cut and dry constitutional, and I mean dry because none of us knew this stuff before, right? And anybody who's like you've been able to dive into this now knows what our Constitution really says and really stands for.
Right.
Similarly, when Georgia's Secretary of State responded to a lawsuit by entering into a compromise settlement agreement and release with Stacey Abrams with the Democrat Party of Georgia. Now, how did she know to expand mail-in ballots and to get that signature thing off the mail-in ballots? Was she going to do it before COVID, or did she know about COVID?
Excellent
Either way, it's fraud.
Question.
Right? With the Democrat Party of Georgia, and modified the signature verification requirements, meaning they changed it to let everybody go through. Why would you modify the signature requirements to make it less difficult or easier to commit fraud? Why would you make it easier to commit fraud unless you're making a deal? Okay, spelled out by Georgia law, that changing of the rules violated the Electors Clause. The second constitutional violation occurred when individual counties in each of the 4 states changed the way that they would receive, evaluate, and treat the ballots. 20 years ago, in the landmark case of Bush v. Gore, the Supreme Court held that it violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment when one Florida county treated the ballots one way, and another Florida county treated ballots a different way. Voters had the constitutional right to have their ballots treated equally from county to county. That was one county in one state. I'm telling you, if the Supreme Court does not rule in this justly, you know that they are not good people, okay? That they're actually, it's just a political bent of the higher elites. And then we just go to King of Kings, Lord of Lords. But I'm telling you something this now. Now put my name on the line. I felt like when I went and did my little prayer walk when all this shenanigans was going on. And I said, you go back in there and you take this case. And that was before I knew that the Supreme Court hadn't taken the case. I had heard the Supreme Court hadn't taken the case, and it denied that case too.
Yeah. When
I took my little prayer walk. And I was like, no. You go back and take this case. And don't you know, they taking the case. They walking it back. Okay? Now, I don't know who's walking it back, whether it was the media or the devil or whatever, but somebody walked something back. Okay? Because that was a gut punch. And I saw a vision, and this is prophet time, baby, because we are in unknown, uncharted territory. And when you start to cross the Atlantic,
that's good.
And you don't know where you're at, you don't have, the Sunday newspaper to rely on or the evening news. You need the prophets. You need people who are touching the heaven. Right. Because there was a time when the Pilgrim's boat was sinking. They were sinking in the middle of the Atlantic. And they had brought this giant screw. And what these screws...
Like a house jack.
What this screw was designed to do was to raise beams to build houses. And it was an amazing piece of, handmade machinery for that time, the 1600s. And so somebody said, wait, we got our house screw, our house jack here. And because one of the beams had broken. And they took that house screw and they used it, and it put that beam in place, and they stopped taking on water, and they made it all the way. But somebody had to say, hey, we got to get this screw out. Somebody had to be listening to the Holy Spirit. And when you're crossing the Atlantic, we're crossing the Atlantic to the new land right now. We don't know where we're going to land. We're supposed to go to the Virginia colony. We're going somewhere else. We're going to Plymouth Rock. Okay? Okay, we're going, and the Native Americans there, and Squanto, and Samoset, and Massasoit, and the Wampanoag, they're going to be there. They're going to help us. It's all going to be fine. Okay? Because God has a plan here.
And we're going to have a 50-year treaty.
Okay? God has a plan here. Okay? So the vision that I had in my head was I was like telling those justices, you go back there and you take up this case, young man. Okay? And then I saw Jesus come in my mind's eye, and I saw him sit in the Supreme Court. And I was like, Jesus is in the house. Jesus is in the house. He is in the house. Okay? He wasn't before, but he is now.
Isn't there a Carmen song like that?
God is in the house. Yeah. And God is everywhere, but I'm saying that spiritually, Jesus was like, this is my court. This is mine. This is mine. We don't play like Pharaoh. We go to Pharaoh's court, right? Was that God's court or was that Pharaoh's court? That was God's court. Okay.
Speaking of which, when we look at the Bible, we have a little homestead here, right? We raise pigs and chickens and food and so on and so forth that we can. Leah's got a bicycle here where she grinds our wheat literally grinds the wheat into flour. I mean, legit. We see parables in the Bible that Jesus uses, and that parables that are used from Genesis to Revelation. And one of those things that we see repeated is this courtroom.
Yeah. Oh, over
is
and
that
over and over
courtroom.
again.
God is about justice. And we
is.
hear about justice over and over and over again. Now, we want to get to the updates. I'm going to answer a question really quick. St. Mark says, ladies, what books would you recommend for people interested in reading about the Founding Fathers in American history? I'm going to give you this right now real quick. Write it down. The 5,000-Year Leap.
That's a good start.
Okay, now.
Yeah, I have. Okay, all right. I should get you a good list. Ooh, okay, 20 years ago in the landmark case. Okay, all right. So when election officials in Wayne County, Michigan ignored the requirements of Michigan law and denied poll watchers access to vote counting, while other counties in Michigan followed the law, that violated the Equal Protection Clause. Hello? Similarly, in Wisconsin, when the administrator of the City of Milwaukee Elections Commission ignored the requirements of Wisconsin law and directed election workers to write in the addresses of the witnesses on the envelopes containing mail-in ballots, while ballots without witness addresses were deemed invalid elsewhere in other counties, that resulted in unequal treatment of ballots in the state law.
And it's not so that we go and we now allow that to happen, right? It's an unequal justice, but it doesn't mean that we make everyone criminals.
Right.
We have to rein in those that did it unlawfully.
Right. Importantly, the Texas lawsuit presents a pure question of law. It is not dependent upon disputed facts. Although these unconstitutional changes to the election rules could have facilitated voter fraud, the state of Texas doesn't need to prove a single case of fraud to win. It is enough that the 4 states violated the Constitution. Mm-hmm. The lawsuits ask the Supreme Court to remand the appointment of the electors in the 4 states back to the state legislatures. As the Supreme Court said in 1892 in the case of McPherson versus Blacker, whatever provisions may be made by statute or by the state constitution to choose electors by the people, there is no doubt of the right of the legislature to resume the power at any time. If Texas prevails, the 4 state legislators could follow any number of courses in appointing their presidential electors. They could assess the election results and try to exclude those ballots that were counted in violation of state law in order to determine a winner. They could divide their electoral college votes between 2 candidates, making them tie votes, okay? Or they could follow a different path, but they have to follow the Constitution in whatever they do. In the rest of the country, the states followed the constitutional rules in appointing presidential electors. The offending states cannot be allowed to violate those same rules. It's just not a matter of constitutional law. It's a matter of basic fairness.
So good.
All right. So let's go over here. They recertified like for the 3rd time in Georgia. Like whatever is going on in Georgia.
Like, so they're recertifying, right?
Because of recounts.
No, I get that. But does that make it so that when they're in the middle of the recount, the vote isn't certified?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
I think so. So you had some videos. I don't know. We didn't play them for you, but the election of officers, or maybe I did play them for you. I think on Sunday in Georgia. You know, he's like, it's been debunked, but I haven't seen the video, and he hasn't interviewed anybody in
we
the
did
Georgia.
not play that for them, but it was embarrassing. He's like, he just what you just said. It's been debunked, and then at the very end of this Zoom call, he's like, well, I haven't yet reviewed the video yet, and I do need to do that. I need to make sure that I do that.
But he's interviewed no one, and so
wait a minute. Do you need me to play these? Because I can now with the new system.
And going to explain to you the evidence that we have.
Wait, they're not gonna be able to hear it. You need to just pause it.
So yeah, but I don't
comes
really need them to hear it.
Oh,
I just wanted to show them the video.
Arena here in Fulton County, which goes to what Ray was talking about in terms of fraud or misrepresentation. So when that cues,
So
all the way past the close of the polls, what you have is essentially two Republican field organizers who were sent here to be observers. At no time were they actually permitted to observe in a meaningful way. I'm sorry, I have a voice issue today.
So no time they were able to observe in a meaningful way. And then this is the video where the lady in the purple goes and gets the ballots out from under the table. Now, a lot of people have said, who puts ballots in suitcases? These are our traditional ballot boxes. I don't want you to think that they're just in suitcases, okay? They're on rolly carts.
They're calling them suitcases. They're just those big bins.
But but they do hold the ballots in them traditionally.
Right.
But what is not traditional is her putting them under the table. These are the only ballots under the table in front of the skirt. Well, that might not be weird, but then they kicked everybody else out, and then there's supposed to be a water main break, and they did it, and they counted without. All of it is absurd. None of it makes sense. So
it was an overflowing urinal.
Right. All right. So Molly Hemingway says, no, the Georgia vote counting video has not been debunked, not even close. A big tech-backed fact-checking outfit claimed to debunk explosive evidence in the support of Republicans' claims of significant election problems at a Thursday Georgia Senate hearing. It didn't, not even close. Newly discovered security footage from Georgia State Farm Arena showed dozens of ballot counters, media, and Republican observers leaving en masse at the same time from the ballot counting area in Fulton County. After they left, a small remnant of about 4 workers began pulling trunks containing thousands of ballots from underneath a table with a long tablecloth and running them through the machines. The footage supported claims from Republicans that they were told counting had stopped for the night, only to find out hours later that it had kept on going. You can and should watch the 12-minute portion of the video. On Friday morning, a group called Lead Stories published a hoax alert, falsely claiming they have debunked the security video. The Washington Post, Newsweek, and other outlets followed along, criticizing non-leftist journals for giving the video traction. In fact, none of the claims made by the Republicans were debunked. Lead Stories fact check says government officials told them everything was fine with the counting and that the ballots were in containers, not suitcases, and that party observers were never told to leave because counting was over for the night. Leaving aside without relying solely and uncritically on government officials' claims constitutes anything close to a fact check, let's look at the claim that party observers were never told that counting was over for the night. In Lead Stories' regurgitation of the government's official claims, only the people who cut open the absentee ballot envelopes were sent home, while ballot counters and scanners were retained to be kept working, and no one told the press or other observers they were done counting. Georgia Republican Party Chairman David Schaefer has consistently said that's what happened at the State Farm Arena beginning hours after the election. Now, the reason they actually the Trump team subpoenaed the State Farm cameras was because they had heard that people were kicked out of the counting room from witnesses. It wasn't after the fact that the witnesses said, well, I was kicked out. No, they said I was kicked out, and then they kept counting.
Right.
Like, how did they come up with a count when they told me they had stopped counting?
Yeah, exactly.
That claim, which he has repeated consistently, is backed by sworn affidavits from 2 Republican observers who further allege that they were kept at unreasonable distances from the ballots anyways, even while they were at the State Farm Arena, making it completely impossible to meaningfully do their jobs. The video, which shows the room from 4 different angles, fully supports the claim that poll watchers were kept away from meaningful observation of the ballot handling. The observers say that they arrived for their observation jobs around 8 p.m. They say the first half of the 10 o'clock hour, a woman with blonde braids who appeared to be a supervisor yelled out to those present in the room that they would stop working for the night and would resume in the morning. The Republican poll watcher said they asked Fulton County Elections spokesperson Regina Waller questions about the status of the ballot count multiple times, but that she refused to even answer. Okay? Lead Stories, however, says there was never an announcement made to the media and other observers about the counting being over for the night and then needing to leave. We all heard the counting was over.
Yeah.
Okay? It was provided information by the media liaison who was present. While Lead Stories doesn't name the media liaison who was present that night, according to the affidavits, was Regina Waller, the Fulton County Public Affairs Manager for Elections.
Now, we did talk about, you said this earlier today, it doesn't matter whether they told everybody to leave or not. Well, it does, okay? But ultimately, at the bottom line, it was illegal for them to do the counting without observers there anyway.
Okay, so on the one hand, you have sworn affidavits from observers saying that the supervisors told ballot counters to go home from the for the evening shortly after 10, and videos showing everyone leaving en masse at that time. On the other hand, you have two government officials promising that no one was told that the counting was over. Is there any other evidence to consider? Well, on election night, ABC News reported that the ballot counters were sent home at the time that the Republican observers said everyone was told the counting had stopped. Their source, Regina Waller.
Oh, dear.
New, the election department sent the ballot counters at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta home at 10:30. Regina Waller, the Fulton County Public Affairs Manager for Elections, tells ABC News, and now she's saying, no, we didn't. I didn't say that.
You know where liars go?
H-E-L-L.
Pat Cox wants to know, they have named 3 people in that video, mom, daughter, and their boss. What's happening to them? It's a very, very good question. One of them was going to give an interview and then realized I had better not do that.
The Republican poll watcher story matches this election night reported perfectly. And it wasn't just ABC that reported counting was being delayed. Many media outlets reported on counting delays. For example, Fulton County stopped counting absentee ballots for the night. Now that's another one. Local NBC journalists on site that night independently confirmed they were told counting was done for the night and given no indication it would continue before the next morning. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution even reported of a plan to stop scanning ballots at the same time the poll watcher said things were shut down. Some debunking there, you guys. The video supports the claim from the affidavits. Incidentally, most of the linked stories include mention of a major election day story of a pipe burst delaying vote counting. Some even said it was reportedly a water main break. In a new affidavit, the aforementioned Watson swore our investigation revealed that the incident initially reported as a water leak late in the evening on November 3rd was actually just a urinal that overflowed the morning of November 3rd. In a new affidavit, the aforementioned Watson swore our investigation revealed that the incident initially reported as a water leak more than the urinal. She also said that her investigation shows that the press and observers simply left on their own, although she later said workers put ballots underneath the table because they thought the counting was stopping for the evening. This was done because employees thought they were done for the night and they were closing up and ready to leave, she claimed. Actually, the video shows that they put the ballots underneath the table in the morning.
Did we get that far? Because I never heard that.
Yeah.
Okay.
A Newsweek story quoted someone saying the Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger's office claimed that a designated election observer was at that spot all night the entire time. Lead stories emphasize that while partisan observers may not have been present, an unnamed state election board monitor was present. The monitor only claims to have been present in the processing room from 11:52 on election night to 12:45 the following morning, or less than an hour. That means there were neither partisan monitors nor the state election board monitor for more than an hour after ballots actually began to be scanned at 10:35.
Oh, dear.
What the fact check shows then is the monitor admitting he wasn't present for much of the time in question, contrary to claims made by the Secretary of State's office. For whatever it's worth, the same monitor is the subject of an affidavit from another witness devoted exclusively to concerns about the monitor's conduct prior to the late hours on election day. According to a member of Trump's team, the claim includes that he was sleeping on the job and staring at his phone. Incidentally, Fulton County had such massive problems managing elections earlier this year that they were fined and forced into a settlement agreement that included a requirement that they be independently monitored. To avoid the fine, Fulton must maintain verifiable levels of operational competence by properly processing absentee ballots, keeping a force of 2,200 properly trained poll workers, providing at least 24 early voting sites, striving to process 100 voters per hour. And they had to go into this consent decree because they were doing crazy things. The U.S. Department of Justice also sent an election monitor to Fulton County. Contrary to the media impression that a state monitor is sufficient oversight, the press and partisan observers are just as if not more important. The false public claims about a pause in counting led to the departure of the press and the Republican observers. As for the deputy chief investigator who arrived at 12:15 on November 4th, when the ballot scanning activities were nearly completed, the video shows the person entering the large room, glancing around, taking and talking on his phone. At no point have the fact checkers or other media figures asked what prompted an investigator to be dispatched to the State Farm Arena at that time. Mm-hmm. The Trump legal team, for its part, said the Fulton County situation violated Georgia laws that require election tabulation to be open to the public view. The witness affidavit said the denial of meaningful access to the counting process kept Republican observers from being able to actually observe what happened. The Republican observers, the press, and the public were kept in roped-off areas too far from the ballot activity, which does not comply with Georgia law. While conspiracy theories about election fraud abound, ranging from the New York Times claim that there was no election fraud anywhere in the country to dramatic claims of a global conspiracy involving voting machines, we do have that President Trump filed, and state Republican chairman David Schaefer and President Trump filed a criminal complaint in state court on Friday regarding tens of thousands of votes that they say were fraudulent. 2,500 felons, 66,000 underage registered voters, 2,400 people who were not on the voters' rolls, 4,900 voters who had registered in another state after they registered in Georgia, making them ineligible, 395 people who cast votes in another state for the same election, about 15,000 voters who had filed national change of addresses forms without re-registering, 40,000 people who had moved counties without re-registering, 1,000 people who claimed the physical impossibility of a P.O. box as their address, 98 people who registered after the deadline, and 10,000 people who were deceased on Election Day, 8,700 of whom have been registered as dead before their votes were accepted.
Wow.
So that is enough to change the outcome of the election by 3 or 4 times. The fact check was originally written by Alan Duke and Haley Golden, although Golden's name, blah, 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 blah. So it has not been debunked, and by far, those ballot counting rooms were definitely used.
What's more, though, and I've said this before on the show, but I guess I kind of like to insert my own personal experience, which maybe you guys had the exact same thing, but I don't have the best memory in the world. Just going to be honest, okay? But I remember election night so vividly. And I remember Leah telling me at 10:30 that Georgia was going to stop counting. And I was going around the house and I'm like, who stops counting at 10:30?
Right.
You pull an all-nighter.
Right.
I don't care what you have to do. No one goes home. And here's the good news, guys.
Mm-hmm.
They have used all of their tricks up.
Mm-hmm.
So once this gets settled, they will never be able to play these hands again. They went all in. And I mean, they put all their chips in.
Let me tell you something.
And it's all going to backfire.
Let me tell you something. Right now in Georgia, they've got these drop boxes that are unmonitored still. And guess who's paying for a lot of this stuff? Zuckerberg. I'm gonna drop this for you guys because this is important. Imagine if a billionaire of conservative or libertarian leanings, Charles Koch, say, had given $350 million to a nonprofit run by Republican operatives who previously worked at a dark money outfit tied to Karl Rove, where they trained digital activists and campaign workers. Then imagine this nonprofit group re-granted the millions of dollars to a local election officials to help them carry out the 2020 election, buying drop boxes for ballots, hiring temporary staff, and conducting voter education. Guess who did this? Mark Zuckerberg. Did you know the federal government only gave out to the states $400 million? Mark Zuckerberg spent the same amount on these U.S. elections in special key areas than our entire federal government. And let me tell you a little bit what he did. Okay, so the head of Capital Research Center, we saw them at the Georgia hearing, is a watchdog on nonprofits. All right, and the scheme of Mark Zuckerberg, it's kind of hidden and you won't see it for like a year and a half before tax filings, but you can see some of the results. They gave $350 million to an allegedly nonpartisan profit, the Center for Tech and Civic Life. The
Nonpartisan nonprofit.
Yeah, the CTLCL, which is in turn regranted the funds to thousands of governmental election officials around the country. CRC has begun state-by-state studies of how these funds were used, beginning with Georgia. Pennsylvania is next. So he testified at the Georgia hearing. Can't specify all funding gave to Georgia counties because the center isn't disclosing that information, okay, even though they're required to reveal it in their next IRS filing. But using local government records and news accounts, they've uncovered many of the largest grants, mostly given to the largest urban areas. And they have disclosed what counties received the grants, although not the amounts. So 9 out of 10 of the Zuckerberg money, largest known grants went to counties Joe Biden did win. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Of the 10 counties with the greatest shifts to the Democrat presidential candidate compared to from 2016 to 2020, 9 received these grants. These 9 grants averaged a 13.7% shift towards the Democrat. 2, Cobb and Gwinnett, were among the other 4 counties that delivered Biden the most votes, period. Although CTLC funded more counties won by Donald Trump than by Biden in raw numbers, it only funded 21% of all Trump counties versus 55% of all Biden counties. So a Biden county was more than 2.5 times more likely to receive the funding. CTLC funded all 4 counties that provided Biden 100,000 votes or more. CTLC funded those 4 counties lavishly. Per capita, they received between $4 and $10 for every man, woman, and child. We went over this, but this...
well, we didn't go over it. We sat here and watched it live at the hearing in Georgia the other day.
By contrast, as far as we currently know, only 1 county won by Trump was funded above $1 per person. That's in Cherokee County. So, dark money everywhere. So the SCOTUS ruling on a new lawsuit could critically impact election. This is from...
What happens to December 14th? And is there going to be, for by the Supreme Court, whether it's a stay or the outcome determinative?
Hang on. This is from the American Center of Law and Justice. Let me get this for you guys.
Well, look, I think December 14th is a critical date. Now, there's some lawyers that say that could even be moved. Harry, you're nodding. What is your thought on that? And I want to ask Andy.
Well, that is precisely the argument that Ken Paxton makes in his brief, that the Supreme Court has the power because the failure, for instance, to have a full-blooded hearing, assuming the validity of the factual claims and the legal claims that are made by the state of Texas, would mean that we have an illegitimate election. And so the Supreme Court, this would be extraordinary, and I'm not forecasting it, but they could, in fact, delay the December the 14th deadline. And there's an argument, one might argue, in favor of that, because the errors that are outlined in this litigation are errors of the defendant state's own making by virtue of their own unconstitutional actions.
And you cannot forget that. I mean, this is not coming out of the air. This is not some technical violation. There's allegations that there was a violation of the Equal Protection Clause, of due process, that violation of the Electors Clause, a violation of the Elections Clause. And there's a great question coming in Super Chat from Bob on YouTube and says, will the Supreme Court just declare state electors void, or could they do something else? Andy, they have a lot of things they could do. They could say it goes back to the state legislature to make the determination. That would be the most likely outcome.
That's correct. The Supreme Court of the United States...
They're not going to say this binds the winner or trumps the winner. That's not what they're going to do.
That's not going to happen in this case. They've got tremendous options, that court. First of all, they cannot take the case, as Jordan pointed out. It's discretionary. They can say, I'm sorry, we're not interested in this litigation, and then it'll be a mess, and I don't know what's going to happen. But they could do a lot of things. They could say that the electors in the states that are being challenged by the state of Texas were illegally selected by their jurisdictions. Go back and select them again, legislatures of those states, and void that. Or they could say, well, they're void. We don't have to have a re-election. Let the House of Representatives make the decision. So there's a lot of things that the Supreme Court could do. But I think that the Constitution trumps the statute. And I think that the December 14th, yes, that's set by 3 U.S.C. 1 as the date when the electors are supposed to meet and elect. But I don't know that whether the Supreme Court is going to say the Constitution has got to trump that. As it said, as Kim Paxton said, the Constitution is sacred. It's not a piece of parchment hanging in the National Archives. I take that statement very, very seriously, and the Supreme Court will too.
So they're telling me, I asked them in the chat, and I know we're trying to do our show here, but we're getting the system up and running. They're having to turn down their volume when the video plays, so you need to turn down your volume.
I can turn it down. That's wonderful.
There we go.
Okay, so that is Donald Trump's, one of his lead lawyers there, Jay Sekulow, one of my personal heroes there, giving you outlining the different options of what the Supreme Court could do. We are going to unlock the ads here, whatever. So I thought this was just funny to me because Ollie, if you guys are following him on, I think his name is Alexander, he is running Stop the Steal. I think he's doing a marvelous job in his, own way. Everybody's doing their own thing. And he had said that I'm willing to die for this. So this movement, he's like, I'm in it to win it. I'm in it all the way to the end.
Which goes along with our founding fathers pledging their lives, their fortune, and their sacred honor. We're all just saying, dude, I'm there. I'm doing it.
So what's hilarious is that the Arizona Republican Party tweeted out, are you? And so then Arizona Central says, Arizona GOP asks followers if they're willing to die in effort to overturn election results.
And you know what's so funny
is funny to
me. No one is taking these people seriously. It's like Trump with the hamburgers that were stacked. He said, they were stacked. There was, 500 hamburgers stacked a mile high. Then they run an article. It wasn't 1,000 hamburgers, and even 1,000 hamburgers would not go a mile. They did that. They wrote that article. I'm like, oh my gosh. What is wrong with you people?
I know.
And you know why it is?
One of his many lies.
I'm going to tell you why it is. Because they got nothing. They have no negative anything that they can report on Trump or on his supporters or those of us that are fighting for this, that they have to literally make stuff up. So sad.
Yeah, the way God works is he does go down the line all the time. And I wonder, why does he do that? But he does it. And it's his calling card. It's his MO, so he gets the glory.
Yeah.
Take it up with him. Now, speaking of taking up with him, Saturday, if you guys are near D.C., if you guys want to go to D.C., I can't. I'd love to go. They're doing what's called the Jericho March, okay? As a Stop the Steal. And who's going to be there? Who's going to speak? This guy. Mike Flynn. Mike Flynn is going to be speaking at the Jericho March.
I'm so excited.
I think it was some cowboys. I have the article up.
I got to tell you.
They're walking around. Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho.
Here's the deal.
Go around the city 7 times, and then you shout and you sing, and then God brings the walls down. Anybody that is not a Trump supporter and not a Christian. Right.
Is clueless as to why we are so happy and excited about everything that's happening. Okay? We are watching God move in the most mighty way that any of us that are alive have ever seen
Yeah, I've never
in
seen
our
anything like
days.
this.
And I can't believe that I get to be alive and get to witness this, the righting of so many wrongs. 4 years ago, we elected a man because he said he was going to drain the swamp, okay? And then he got in it, and the swamp was really, really mucky, okay? And it almost had like
It almost
dried
sucked him
up,
in.
and it was like just like a solid, like it's not moving, okay? And that drain plug has been pulled,
But I'm
and
gonna
it's
tell you something.
all gonna get flushed.
Donald Trump can't drain the swamp.
Only Jesus can.
Okay, so on the 12th, Mike Flynn and members of his family will be at the what's called, get this, Let the Church Roar prayer rally. Let the church roar.
Now, I would just like to state
Love it.
for the record, when I did the show about Gideon's army and Deborah with Sidney Powell, I mentioned doing something like this. And they're doing it. When they start invoking the power of God and the Bible, and they call it a daggum Jericho march,
Let the church roar.
again, the naysayers and the people that voted for Biden don't read the Bible. They don't know how this works out.
Let the church roar.
Do 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 do. Let the church roar.
I love it. Who else is gonna be there? One of my favorites is Eric Matakis. He did that. He does all kinds of major interviews. I just love this man. He is such a Christian. He's on fire. I have a tweet from him up here somewhere where he's like, the haters been coming at me. He's a wonderful man of God. Legit, like he's like mainstream, but I love him. And he's been leading these prayers, if you guys can find it, on Wednesday nights, and he is going to be there. We've got
so bad.
Let the Church Roar prayer rally. We will bring it to you. We will be here because somebody's got to bring it to the people. All right. On the
What day
national
is this?
Saturday.
What
the
time?
12th. I don't know. Sometime.
Okay.
All right. So Eric Matakis is going to be there in partnership with the One Nation Under God Grassroots Rally. Eric Matakis, author and speaker.
Is it Metaxas?
Metaxas.
I don't know how you say it. I'm just asking.
Radio host will MC the Roar Prayer Rally on the National Mall, the partnership among planners of the Jericho March, Stop the Steal, and One Nation Under God Grassroots Rally shows the group's commitment to a unified effort to gather as patriots and people of faith in prayer for election integrity, transparency, and reform. The Jericho March and Stop the Steal is supported by the Phyllis Shapely Eagles. So Jericho March will take place from 9:30 to 10:45 simultaneously around the U.S. Capitol Supreme
morning.
Court. Yeah, the marches will take place.
Okay, great.
And the Justice Department as they march around the building 7 times, baby. We gonna march around the building 7 times.
This
We
is so
gonna
exciting
march
to
around
me,
the
guys.
building. Gonna march around the building. March
You said,
around
and
the
Leah's been
building
saying
7
this, it's time for
times.
crazy Christian stuff. And you said it
Crazy
again to a
Christian
friend.
stuff, baby.
It's the time where we lay on the dead body, right? And
Crazy
bring it to
Christian
life.
stuff,
It's
baby.
the time where
Hallelujah.
Jesus spits into the mud, picks it up, and slaps it on the blind guy's eyes. And so when we see people,
Woo!
all right, there's something called an appeal to heaven flag. And I'm going to pull it up here in a second.
Hallelujah.
When Christians and Americans start appealing to
Yes.
heaven and start invoking like Bible stuff, not only is it impossible for us to lose, but this is what you guys need to see. This is exactly what God wanted. And the only thing that was going to bring it about was this. So it had to happen just this exact way. I'm pulling up this appeal to heaven flag. Everyone should order one. I need to order a new one.
Let the church
roar. But it's so powerful. And the story behind it is it's something that our founding fathers would use when you have no other recourse. There's nothing left that you can do. All you are left with is an appeal to heaven. And that's where we should actually start.
So could you
instead
imagine
of being
the
at the end.
Democrats go and they burn down cities? We go around and march down. We're like, God, you're going to bring it down. All right? Okay. So march around the building 7 times and pray for the walls of corruption and election fraud to fall down.
Oh, that's so good.
Hallelujah, brothers and sisters. We getting the same messages. That's how you know it's from the Holy
There's
One.
an appeal to heaven face mask. Now, you know what? Hang on. I'm just going to show you this whole page. Here, I don't do the face masks. Y'all know I don't do the face masks, but I might. Here, I'm in the way of the face mask. Oh wait, no, let's not wear Christmas decorations. See that? Look at that face mask there with the field of heaven. That's so funny. All right, so no, seriously, go on, order yourself an appeal to heaven flag.
It comes from John Locke. When you're all out of when you can't. When nothing is going your way and even the justice isn't going your way, you had to appeal to heaven. All right.
Yep.
So just as Joshua and the Israelites walked around the walls of corrupt Jericho, following the simultaneous marches around these buildings, patriots of the people of faith will converge on the National Mall for the Let the Church Roar prayer rally from 11 till 4. Well, they were here from national faith leaders, political leaders, and musicians, so you can go register. Prior to his speech at the National Mall, General Flynn will first speak at 10 a.m. at the Supreme Court, an event hosted by Alice Butler Short of the Virginia Women for Trump, and then the Joe Rykoff of California Women for Trump, and their other affiliates with the One Nation Under God grassroots rally. This will be General Flynn's first public appearance since he has been pardoned by President Trump. Now, there's a little tiff between the Women for Trump who've been doing this March for Trump. RSBN has been going with the March for Trump, and then Ali's over here, and it's a little two different camps, but whatever. They're all going to come together on Saturday. Joining Lieutenant Flynn, we've got Bishop Strickland, Catholic Diocese of Tyler, Texas, Cindy Jacobs, Generals International, Dee Dee Lounsing, Save the Persecuted Christians, Dominique Sputo, Lumen Life, Dr. Steve Newman, Jewish Patriot.
Nice.
Got to bring in the Jews, baby. Dr. Taylor Marshall. Dr. Greg Bromlage. Dr. Greg Bromlage, Missionaries of the New Evangelism, Friar Hans Jacobs, American Orthodox Institute. It's just a long list of Christians and rabbis here. Awesome. And then
Abby Johnson's going to be there.
Ali Alexander,
CJ
Alice
Pearson.
Butler, CJ Pearson, Bikers for Trump, Paul Gosner, Congressman Bob McEwen from Ohio. We got represent. Courtney Holland and Megan Barr, Stop the Steal Nevada, Cowboys for Trump, Dennis Prager.
Nice.
Let's see, I'm not sure, a doctor. Egg Martin, Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Eric Matakis, Flynn, Jenny Beth Martin from the Tea Party Patriots, Hollywood producer Jason Jones, Kimberly Fletcher, Mike Lindell is going to speak. Nice. Michelle Bachum's going to speak.
Nice.
Vernon Jones is going to speak.
Love it.
And we got some music it's going to be, they got an opera singer going to be there. It's like the Roar Prayer rallies will simultaneously be taking place at the contested state capitol. So if you are in Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Arizona, or Wisconsin at noon, December 12th, go walk, baby, and you pray. You go walk and you go pray, honey child, because this is how this gets done. This is how this gets done. And guys, this is so funny. We're trying to change a nation with no bloodshed, no violence in like 2 months.
Not just change it, but irrevocably change it. So we were on a path in this direction. They've been saying it for years. Kids these days, the world's going to heck in a handbasket. Yada. Okay, guess what? We're not going on that trajectory anymore.
Let me tell you something. It's not. This has been a change in the making. Okay? 2012, Monumental comes out, and people start to say, how do we get back to the monument? How do we get back to the matrix of liberty? Justice, law, morality, education. You know, how do we get back to your ways, oh God?
Yeah.
And people have been praying for years and years and years. So what we're seeing is the culmination of major prayers happening. And this is my zone. I don't even know what happens after this, but I hope it's more of this. Because I need this and you need this. And we can try to talk about how bad the DOJ is or how bad the FBI is or anything like that. I need this to continue because this is who I am.
All right, so I have your answer. This just popped into my head.
I need this.
What Christians have been doing wrong, there's two things. Well, we'll just stick with two. There's many. There's two things that we've been doing wrong for the past 100 years. Okay?
Being a doormat.
We have advised
all over us
young men and women who want to go into politics to just become a minister.
Bingo, baby.
And not to join politics.
Right.
All right. So we need those that are the mightiest in faith.
And to not go into law either.
To go into law and to go into the political realm, to be completely active in our political spectrum. Number two.
Right.
We haven't been marching every time we need something done. We have not done Jericho marches, okay? If people started doing Jericho marches around Planned Parenthood, if people would do Jericho marches around the Supreme Court every time they're going to hear a case about abortion.
So since November 5th,
this is good because this is what my main point is. You said I want this to continue, and it just hit me as I was sitting here. We're going to continue this from now on whenever we need something done. Christians are going to join together on the news, on social media, en masse to seek God, to appeal to heaven.
Okay,
moving forward.
So they have been fasting and praying since the 5th.
Yes.
Okay, and they're ready for this. And it's based on, you guys want to know, it's based on Joshua chapter 6.
Come on now.
Now, Jericho was securely shut up, okay, because of the children of Israel. Nobody went out, nobody came in. And the Lord said to Joshua, see, I have given Jericho into your hand. America belongs to Christians, by the way. Its king and its mighty men of valor. You will march around the city, all you men of war. You'll go around the city once, and you will do it 6 days. And 7 priests shall bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark. But the 7th day you'll march around the city 7 times. And the priests will blow their trumpets, and it will come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, that all the people shall shout with a great shout, woo! All right, and then the wall of the city will fall down flat, and the people shall go up every man straight before him. Then Joshua the son of Nun called the priests and said, hey, get the ark, come on, we get the 7 priests and the 7 trumpets, let's do this thing. We're marching around the city. So it was. And Joshua had spoken to the people, the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of the ram's horns before the Lord man's, and they blew the trumpets. And the ark of the covenant, what do we got? We got a covenant. We got a Declaration of Independence. We got a Constitution. We got a covenant too. Okay? I'm sure people will be pocketing them. They went before, and the armed men went before the priests who blew the trumpets, and the rear guard came after the ark while the priests continued blowing the trumpets. Now Joshua commanded the people, saying, you will not shout or make a noise with your voice. Don't say anything until I say shout, and then you'll shout. So he had the ark of the Lord circle around the city, going around it once. Then they rested. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and they went around again, and they went around again, and they went around again. All right? And the 2nd day, they did this for 6 days. And on the 7th day, they rose early about the dawning of the day, and they marched around the city 7 times the same manner. And on that day, only they marched around the city 7 times. And the 7th time it happened, when the priests blew the trumpets, and Joshua said to the people, shout, for the Lord has given you the city. Now the city shall be doomed by the Lord to destruction, it and all who are in it. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all who are within her house, because she has hid the messengers that were sent. And you, by all means, abstain from the accursed things, lest you become accursed when you take the accursed things. Okay?
Here we go. I've got a horn. I really wanted a sound effect for this. This is our.
And when they heard the sound of this trumpet, the people shouted with a great shout, and a wall fell down flat. Then the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city, and they got it. They got it. They got it. All right, we're moving on.
You know, it's just going to keep going because it's so powerful.
All day long, baby.
They're really blowing that thing. That's so powerful. Guys, and you know what's interesting, and I'm tying it all together from Trey Smith reading the prophecy today, and I put that link in there in the chat. I'm going to put it in the description of the video. And he mentioned Billy Graham in Anne Graham's speech. She spoke of Joshua, and I just find that really interesting, the correlation of kind of tying it all together.
Yeah.
So anyway.
All right. So this is State Senator David C. Farnsworth yesterday. What if we want to go vote, we have to trust the government. This is in Arizona. There are a lot of state senators and there are people who are fighting.
Yeah.
And I just want you to hear some of them.
Nope, that's you again.
Arizona Republicans call for the decertification of the election results. I mean, this is a fight, guys. This is a legit battle. It's happening.
We have to trust the government? That's pretty scary, but that's what the government is here for. Unfortunately, apparently, obviously, we can't trust the government.
Yeah, well, we knew that.
So they're meeting right now, the Board of Supervisors, and someone was asking for names a little while ago. Okay, I don't know whether it'll do any good, but we need to keep calling Doug Ducey, Karen Fann, the President of the Senate, and Rusty Bowers. Now, I confess it might not do any good. I was in Karen Fann's office for an hour last week pleading with her to allow me, as the chairman of the Senate Government Committee, to hold a hearing. And I asked her again today, and she says, "Oh, wait, we're going to trust the Board of Supervisors to do it." And I said, "Karen, I said, the deadline is 5 o'clock today. I want to have an agenda out at 5 o'clock today for the Government Committee to meet." And I sent the message through phone call and text and through my assistant and through everyone who's in charge, and it should be posted today. But you know what? I don't know who to trust anymore. I have learned who I can't trust.
Well, why do you have
I
to
can't
have
trust the
permission?
people behind me. Now, I got to tell you one more thing.
They're not going to throw you in
Naming
jail.
names, okay?
Nobody's going to arrest you.
We have a big problem right now because we are out of session. We are out of session because 3 Republicans conspired with the Democrats to shut us down. There it is.
And that was the COVID restrictions because
Right.
Rudy Giuliani.
Right.
Stupid.
But the crowd was shouting, "Call your own session.
Yeah.
Call your own session."
Now, I'm going to have to keep reminding you of this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics, Joe Biden.
He did say it, and we've played it on the show.
So, Marissa Hamilton, who is the founder of Strong Communities Foundation of Arizona, says we do have receipts, and everybody's name bring receipts, which is proof. In Arizona, we found alleged deceased people were sent ballots, and many of those ballots were allegedly cast per the voter database. Results were submitted, so she has a long list of people who in Arizona who are dead and voted. These Trump supporters traveled here from Japan. Many of them left their families and jobs to be on the road here to travel.
serious?
With,
Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the valleys.
They're singing.
Stand beside her.
Oh my gosh. That's so good.
They
I'm gonna
traveled
cry.
here from Japan to help stop the steal.
I'm gonna cry singing our song.
To help stop the steal.
Oh my gosh. Guys, here's the deal. People on the left don't understand the significance of what is happening right now and why we are still. It kind of reminds me, it seems so biblical. Why won't they just quit? Just stop. You are lying on the ground. We have beaten the heck out of you. Why don't you just stop?
Yeah.
Okay?
Joe always tells the truth.
But actually, here's the truth. The fact of the matter is, actually, and this is what we need to know, we aren't lying on the ground having been kicked and beaten. Mm-hmm. We are actually winning this fight.
Yeah.
They are the ones that are beaten down, but there's some sort of mirage that they've put up. Mm-hmm. Making us believe that it's reversed when we are the ones that are actually winning.
Why don't you guys give up? Why don't
you give up? Guess what? You needed to commit the greatest fraud that has ever taken place probably in the whole world.
Well, I would say in American history.
In American history, I mean, the widest spread. I'm talking about the widest. Do you know how much it took to this conspiracy how many people it took to get this together.
That's pretty crazy.
Okay? In all of, like, at least in American history. I'm talking about fraud.
Yeah.
Okay, fraud. They were losing so bad.
Yeah.
That they had to pull in all of these things. The mainstream media, they had to censor us on social media. They had to cheat because when the Biden bus was in God bless Texas, they were chased out by Trump supporters. Yeah. Okay? That's how bad they have lost.
Yeah. Okay. So just to give you a minute overview of the Trump campaign on why the safe harbor date, we could just breeze right through it.
Speaking of the safe harbor date, raise your hand if until this year or until this week, you didn't even really know we had something called the safe harbor date and it really didn't seem important at all.
Yeah, it's not.
Follow to my last video. This week, the Democrats and their allies in the corporate media are going to try to convince you that those of us who have grave doubts about the validity of this election are simply out of time. But let's look at the reality of the calendar per the United States Constitution. It is true that there's a 7-decade-old statute that suggests that December 8th and December 14th are important dates for the election. However, this is critical. Even federal legislation cannot supersede the Constitution of the United States. A new white paper, excellent white paper, I recommend you read, put out by the Thomas More Project's Amistad Project, says this: disregard the statute in favor of the plain meaning of the Constitution. Per the Constitution, only one time and date matters, and that is high noon on January 20th. Now, obviously, it's optimal to know who the incoming president is well in advance of January 20th. But my point is, we are not even midway between the election date and January 20th. I don't want you to lose your sense of urgency, but I also want you to be confident.
Like Michelle said, I don't care if you go up to January 20th. We are hanging on. We are hanging on, hanging on.
Honestly, I know how it's going to turn out, and I know that Trump's going to get inaugurated, but I don't even care about January 20th. Because like Sidney Powell says, this is a criminal case. Mm-hmm. People are going to go to jail, and it will overturn the results it will underpin the true results of the election and get rid of the illegal results of the election.
Yeah. All right. So, Tracy Beans put this out. In reading the Georgia Constitution, it appears that newly registered voters should not be
with the mic. I'm sorry, guys.
In reading the Georgia...
Tomorrow my sound stuff is supposed to come.
In reading the Georgia Constitution, it appears that newly registered voters should not be eligible to vote in the runoff for the election, actually. So that's very interesting. You're really not supposed to be, even Republicans, registering people after that date.
Wow.
Yeah, per their Constitution. Eric Metaxas, who is going to be speaking on Saturday. Some people are furious with me, saying I see actual evidence of election fraud and believe the president was actually reelected. For saying this. These people obviously haven't watched the hearings or read the many articles on this and speak from ignorance. This is much too important to ignore. The reason I like Eric is he does the research like we do on everything.
Yeah.
From the Medjugorje to whatever. He is a research fiend like we are, and so he knows, and when you know, you can't unsee it.
Well, that's a really good point. But in addition to that, he weaves beautifully together God and reality of what we're seeing, and both of them confirm the truth in this instance.
So Representative Paul Gosner is and this is crazy. Like he is a crazy.
Are you gonna read the whole letter?
It's not that
Let's
long.
take turns.
Okay, go ahead.
Washington.
He wrote a letter, an open letter. Are we witnessing a coup d'etat?
As I write this, I am in our nation's capital attending to legislative business, but I remain focused on what is happening in our country regarding our election. In 2016, the candidate Donald Trump fell victim to a heinous crime that had never before been committed in the history of our country. The outgoing Obama administration weaponized our Department of Justice and FBI to unlawfully spy on their political opponent. They falsified information and crafted a ridiculous narrative around a Russia hoax that would be used as the basis to pursue a sham investigation. That disgraceful investigation became a sword of
Damocles.
I've never heard that word before. Throughout the majority of President Trump's presidency.
Damocles, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Read the whole page.
I said okay. Before President Trump was even sworn in, Democrat leftists swore an oath to remove him by any means they could.
They did.
Official calls to impeach him came before he was even sworn in. At the conclusion of the Russia investigation, they cherry-picked a phone call the president had with Ukraine to pursue a farcical impeachment. They failed. They lied about our president every day for 4 years. Having failed everywhere else, they brazenly engaged in a systemic voter fraud and are trying to steal this election. They did it right in front of us with no shame.
For months, Joe Biden hid why they carefully planned. The fact checkers became more bold, removing reports and slapping "this claim is disputed" labels on anything that might bruise Joe Biden. For weeks leading up to Election Day, we were told to expect Trump to win big on Election night, but that in the days followed, Biden would overtake any lead as mail-in ballots counted. Remember, we were told that by the Pennsylvania Attorney General. Don't worry, Joe Biden's going to win this no matter what.
And even before the election, we were all here kind of scratching our heads going, what do you know that we don't know?
On election night, as votes poured in overwhelmingly for Donald Trump, Joe Biden told supporters to keep the faith, and we believe we are on track to win this. The next morning, we all awoke to see massive, statistically impossible spikes in votes for Joe Biden and almost zero for President Trump. Are we witnessing a coup d'etat? We will not tolerate this. As many of you know, I have helped organize the first Stop the Steal rally in Arizona right after it became clear that voting patterns emerged that could not occur in the absence of fraud. Guys, the basic thing is just look at the stupid signatures, okay? Patriotic warriors joined together to gather evidence and tell the left we will not accept a coup and a usurper in the White House. We all remember when candidate Joe Biden held a rally in downtown Phoenix and precisely 0 people attended. 0. No one. It was a clear reflection of the utter lack of popular support in Arizona for Biden. Conversely, President Trump held rallies in Yuma, Bullhead City, Prescott, and several other places and had 30,000 people show up in person on a 48-hour notice while millions of others watched online. You could not look out your window without seeing patriots waving flags and declaring their support for Donald Trump. I traveled extensively all over this state. I saw maybe 2 or 3 signs for Biden between Yuma and Mojave counties. Otherwise, Arizona was a sea of MAGA for 2020.
In short, from the pre-election polls to election day to voter enthusiasm and to the extreme turnout for the Republicans statewide, where every contested down ballot race was won by Republicans, with the notable exception of Martha McSally, it was apparent that Trump would win, and indeed did win Arizona. It was not even close. I attended a legislative hearing last Monday and listened to 2 expert witnesses familiar with Dominion voting software and voting patterns. They both testified that the Arizona results, particularly in Maricopa County, were altered to take votes from President Trump and gave them to Biden. Perhaps one of the more damning testimonies came from Dr. Shiva, who presented data showing that based upon demographic distribution of party affiliations, the only way for Biden to have statistically caught up with Donald Trump was if Democrat votes came in at 130% for Biden and negative 30% for Trump. A recent hand count of random sampling of ballots ordered by a Superior Court judge determined that 3% of the votes in Maricopa County were fraudulently recorded against President Trump and in favor of Biden. Considering that Biden supposedly won by 0.3%, this theft of votes is more than enough to put Arizona in President Trump's column and restore his lawful and rightful victory.
We can never accept the results of fraud. Our right to vote includes the right to a fair vote count. I will fight to restore the rightful victor, President Trump. Our Constitution, our Republic, and our nation demand election integrity. We are not giving up. The president has not conceded and will not concede to a third world coup d'etat. We have a constitutional republic, not a banana republic. Please stay strong and pray for our country and the true president of the United States. Be ready to defend the Constitution and the White House.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So good.
I would play that China one maybe at the end. Okay. All right, Jericho March. Shocking. Fulton County election director in this video says, we've scanned 113,000 ballots. We've adjudicated over 106,000 ballots. So ballots are adjudicated if there's some question. Why would they need to adjudicate 94% of the ballots?
13,130 ballots. We've adjudicated over 106,000. Those have been published on the site. So those results are already posted. We are, as you can see, like we've been doing all day, we've been opening ballots. we open them at these machines, then they go over to where they're flattened, and then they go over to the scanner. So it's a time-consuming process. Once they get to the scanner, we send them over to English Street. There's a vote review panel over there, and we're adjudicating them from there. The only ballots that are adjudicated are if we have a ballot with a contest on it in which there's some question as to how the computer reads it. So the vote review panel then determines voter intent.
Scanned, what was it, 113,000. Adjudicated 106, meaning
94% of them got kicked out.
And had to be looked at manually by people.
Hi. Doesn't work that way. It does not work that way.
Tweet that out one more time. No, it doesn't work that way.
So Tying Agreement says, have you heard anything about the machines in one county being tested on with equal votes for each candidate and the Dominion machines counting in Biden's favor?
Yeah.
Yes. And also, are you going to get to Michigan?
Michigan what?
Well, the forensics and that whole like midnight story, which was really fun when you kind of
Yeah.
Oh, sorry guys with the mic.
I want to get to this last question here with Jenna, and she's saying she went over all the good things with Trump, but I love this last question here with Payne here.
Independent investigation, and then they will certify to the Electoral College the delegates that actually reflects the will of the people, not these false, corrupt results.
Jen, I just got a minute to go. I've noticed that you're posting more and more.
By the way, you notice that Lou Dobbs and Payne and Maria Bartiromo are all on Fox Business, and they're the pro-Trump people.
Scripture on Twitter lately. It seems like the battle, the mocking, all of the things that you're going through. Of course, Rudy Giuliani now having COVID-19, pretty tough. I'm curious how you're holding up, how you maintain this level of optimism.
I appreciate that, Charles. And, my life is in service and honor to the Lord Jesus Christ. And so whatever anybody else says really doesn't bother me. I hope that I can be a light and inspiration to everyone else, that no matter what anyone says about you, it's all about just who you are as a person made in the image of God and in Christ. And that's ultimately, at the end of the day, as long as I know that I'm pursuing truth and I'm doing the right thing for God and my country, that's all that matters. So that's what gives me my optimism and my hope. I appreciate you asking that.
See how happy she is when she says that? Okay? Like, guys, we are talking about Jesus Christ and our faith in him on the media. And that we are believing on the solid rock of God for him to move. And that's how she has this optimism that she does. The Bible is so clear with scripture. Okay? That the world does not understand us.
They don't
get it. I had a comment here a little bit ago on Twitter, and the thing about Periscope is its own, if you guys aren't familiar, it's not just a Twitter thing. It's its own video platform. People are there, it's like a YouTube, right? Someone comes in, mouth the fool. You the mouth the fool. Says, what is this, the Karen and Karen show? The Bible says, think it not strange. Okay? When the world comes at you or that they don't understand you, they literally are ignorant of the things of the Lord. What we do here, what you guys do, the praying, the believing, the joy, the overwhelming optimism of my God is going to come through.
Here's the thing.
They can't understand it.
Actually, the Karen thing, it's a joke to me. It's like calling a black person racist or whatever, because they're like, well, I can't be racist, I'm black. I can't be a Karen because Karens are the people who
like,
make
tell
people
on everybody,
follow the rules and make people wear masks.
I know. I was thinking that too. I'm
We're
like, you don't understand.
Libertarians.
We're the ones
can't
that
be
are like
Karens.
Karens are the ones like, you have to follow the rules. You
We're
need
like,
to do what I say.
Go build your house from scratch. I ain't gonna tell on you.
Go do your thing.
I ain't gonna tell on you unless you steal, kill, murder, or steal an election.
Mm-hmm. But if it comes to your own life and everything, you do you.
Yeah.
Okay? And we don't want anybody coming in. And that's why I love Donald Trump. You know why? Because Karens are all about regulations. And one of the biggest accomplishments that I love our president for is deregulating regulations. Stop with the constant, all the inspections, the FDA, the USDA, all of this. You got to come in. You got to toe the line. You didn't follow the rules. My name is Karen.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
We're like the opposite of Karen. We're like, nobody saw you do that. You do your thing.
But here's the thing. As Christians, we're going to call you out.
Exactly.
All right. Senator Doug Mastriano, we're just not going to stick the law on you, okay? Unless you be infringing on my rights.
That's right. Or another innocent person's rights.
Senator Doug Mastriano, major hero. I hope he goes down in history as like a major hero. He's so awesome.
Phoebe says, we're caring about the truth and justice and freedom for all.
There you go.
You said it, Phoebe.
He says, my offices have been inundated with calls and emails reporting suspected voter fraud. Thousands of PA residents have been disenfranchised. Your voices deserve to be heard.
Yes.
Hero.
He is. That man is a hero.
Hero. Okay.
There's the appeal to heaven flag right there.
Okay,
there
so I want to show you the Karen.
No. This is Karen. This is Karen.
I'm not going. And I'm just going to play the beginning because you get the. I know she swears, but you can hear her say, "Go kill yourself." I won't. You don't have to hear the rest.
Go kill yourself.
But you can see what she's saying. She's yelling at the Trump supporters.
I'm gonna effing something.
She is a teacher, by the way. They looked her up. Look, she's hyperventilating.
She can't breathe.
Probably because she's driving with a mask on.
Well, and here's the thing: like, she has to take her mask off in order to yell.
So you can get an idea of what she's saying, but this is a Karen. This is a full blown, as far as you can get Karen. She's having. Wouldn't be surprised if she went to the hospital with like a heart attack. She does this for a whole minute before she finally has to go. She's a teacher, teaching your kids, public school teacher.
Phoebe said that woman got a demon or something.
And we're not even gonna listen to what she has to say, but still.
That's who teaches your kids, says Lance. Oh my gosh, Trump derangement syndrome to the max, says Apple Mark. You know.
So Scott Adams and Donald Trump tweeted
James
out the
says these people
Foundation.
are so stressed.
A sampling of recent election fraud cases from across the United States. You can see 1,300 proven instances of voter fraud, criminal convictions, and you can see this is a database of voter fraud historically, and you can see that. And Donald Trump tweeted that out of Scott Adams, but he says this: none of the election fraud history matter. None of the current election fraud allegations matter. What matters is that ballot counting transparency was denied by force in key cities. That's the end of the republic, literally, and more than enough reason to toss out the election.
Wow.
By force. He did a whole video on the bullies of the election. Bullies who forced people out from watching the vote. Okay? So, yeah. He did I think Ali put together a pretty good video of, I don't know if Scott tweeted out or not, but let's see. It was a good video. I don't know if I've got it. Oh, and by the way, Nancy Pelosi came out and said, now that Joe Biden supposedly has been elected, we're going to do all the COVID relief. And she basically says, no, we didn't pass it because we didn't want it to bump Trump. She literally doesn't care about you. She's literally the worst person on the planet.
There's a long list for that.
Okay,
spot.
One of the worst people on the planet. So Mark Levin on Sunday was awesome. I just want to play one clip.
Mark Levin was off the hook. How long is this clip?
50 seconds.
Okay.
The Electoral College is a federal creation.
No, it's fine.
The entire Electoral College process depends on the integrity of the states. And so if you have a state that sends electors to the Electoral College, that is, the governor signs what's called a certificate of ascertainment. It goes to the archivist of the United States. He collects all the Electoral College votes, sends it to the joint session of the new Congress that meets on January 6th by statute. They have all these electors, and wait, there's Pennsylvania. Well, Pennsylvania's electors are tainted because they're presented to the United States Congress, which will then select the president and vice president of the United States after they count them. They're presented to the United States Congress. but it could be argued they're illegitimate because the state legislature didn't follow the state's own constitution.
So good.
They didn't follow the state's own constitution. I was watching Lou earlier. All right, so let's look at these states. Break them down. All right, so Colonel Alan West joined Steve Bannon Tuesday. We're going to play a little bit of this. I wondered, what is Alan West doing as like the head of the GOP in Texas? Well, time to shine. Time to shine, Sonny. Let's see here. If I can, oh, that's just a screenshot. Hang on. So, Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, Florida, not Kentucky, that I know of, but it might be Kentucky. I'm not sure. It's hard to keep track
all right.
of them all.
So Leah and I were going back and forth tonight before we did our show to try to confirm just which states have quote unquote joined or which ones are backing and yada, yada, yada. I think we've settled on the 7 that have joined, 7 or 8 that have joined, but I believe that more will join.
Pandemic
Yeah.
with Stephen K. Bannon.
Are you having issues?
I'm fast forwarding. Might be a second.
Well.
Your therapy. Everybody in the audience wants to know.
Well, sure. And thanks so much, Steve, for having me on. Merry Christmas. And it's been about a 6-month process. And that accident happened over Memorial Day weekend coming.
I think he had COVID.
The state of Texas finally arrived. What are states?
Well, the logic is this. Under the 14th Amendment, equal protection clause, equal protection under law, Texans are severely affected by the fact that you had unconstitutional illegal actions that were going on in 4 of these battleground states, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. What you saw happen in those states were that judges, courts, and also executives taking actions to change election law. And we know that by the rule of the law, by the Constitution, anytime you want to change a law, that should be done through the legislative process. And because you had those things that happened, as well as some other voter irregularities, now we have a result of an election that does have a negative effect on the people here in the great state of Texas. So what the Attorney General filed last night, a little bit before midnight, was a petition, a complaint from Texas based upon those facts that what has happened in those states does have an effect on the citizens of Texas. And I just found out that Louisiana has joined that lawsuit, and there may be some other states that will join that lawsuit. We're not asking for ballots to be thrown out. We're asking for this to go back to the legislature and the state legislators being the ones that will decide those electors, which again is constitutional by Article 2, Section 1 of the United States Constitution.
Do you think that states like Texas, Ohio, Florida that were organized and ran this in a professional manner and got these votes counted and didn't allow all this nonsense with these mail-in ballots, particularly ones that had no chain of custody? Do you think across the board that these states have been damaged by this process, by allowing states and these side deals that were cut and deals that were cut with Zuckerberg and allow these left-wing organizations to have direct access into the voter registration to hardwire these private partnerships? Do you think that the damaged...
So just so you know, in Pennsylvania, the Zuckerberg nonprofit, it's something connected to the MTV, they were given direct access to the voter rolls. Joe Smo, and that's why you had some of the names: Mary April Smith, Mary May Smith, Mary June Smith, Mary August Smith. Because and then you can send that ballot wherever you want, and without a cross check, they can just flood the zone.
Yeah.
State of Texas and other citizens?
Yeah, absolutely right. And that's the crux of this this lawsuit, is that citizens here in Texas, legal voting citizens here in Texas, have been damaged by this. And one of the things that it talks about in the lawsuit is how this whole thing about the coronavirus was used, as Rahm Emanuel would say, never let a good crisis go to waste, for the advantage of these universal mail-in ballots. And we fought against universal mail-in ballots here in Texas, down in Houston, Harris County, where you had the county clerk there, Chris Hollins, who was also the treasurer of the Texas Democrat Party, tried to mail out 2.4 to 2.7 million mail-in ballot applications along the registered voter list, which of course the Democrats do not allow you to scrub because they call you racist. So all of these things have come to a head, and this is why we filed a lawsuit. This is not about an election within these states. This is not about a local election, but we're talking about a national level of election that will affect the citizens of Texas and other citizens as well.
You know, what you guys did, Colonel, was so inspiring. I know there's a prosecutor in New Jersey named Eileen that got so motivated. She actually went to, she's associated now with South Carolina. She actually went online and said, hey, I want South Carolina. Look at what these guys did. I want South Carolina to join this lawsuit because Texas is actually standing up for the little guy. How many other states do you anticipate are going to join you in trying to right this horrible wrong of having the progressive left trying to steal this victory from President Trump, the deplorables, and really the American people?
Yeah, I think that you're going to see about 10 states be a part of this, sign on to this petition, this lawsuit. And I know that, as I said, Louisiana has come on board. You just talked about South Carolina. I believe Missouri and several others will stand beside this as well. Because, again, this is something that damages citizens all across the United States of America. And this is not a Republican thing. It's not a Democrat thing, independent, Green Party, Libertarian. This is an American issue. And America has the gold standard of an electoral system. And if we do not allow that to continue on, we can't have people losing faith and trust and confidence in our electoral system, because that means you are undermining our constitutional republic.
Colonel West, how do people follow you during the day?
So I'm going to stop that. All right, where am I going here? Okay, Supreme Court. So what we argue is they have a constitutional duty to follow state election laws set by the legislator. That's the Constitution, and they got to do that. So this is Texas AG Ken Paxton describes his lawsuit.
Today, Texas filed a suit against Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Let's start there, because I don't think people realize that one state can sue another state in this country. It's a beautiful thing, actually.
It is a beautiful thing. So, yeah, state versus state goes directly. You can take it directly to the U.S. Supreme Court. They have discretionary review, and so it's up to them as to whether they hear a case. We're hopeful that they'll hear this. We think this is a pretty important case, and they should hear it.
And what is the argument specifically in Texas's case? First of all, is it just Texas, or have you been joined with some other states here?
So right now it's Texas. We have other states asking. We'll see how that goes. But right now it's just Texas.
All right. Once again, you're standing alone, Attorney General Ken Paxton. And your suit is against Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And what specifically do you argue those four states did here in this election?
So what we argue is that they have a constitutional duty to follow state election laws set by the state legislature. That's in the Constitution. And they didn't do that. Other people, other judges, other people who are not the legislature came in and changed state law, and it affected the outcome of the election. We in Texas, we had lawsuits over the very same issues. We won those lawsuits, and we followed state law as is required by the Constitution for electors. And we are only asking that states do what they're supposed to do under the Constitution.
Let's isolate Pennsylvania for a moment. It seems pretty clear that the state Supreme Court and the Secretary of State and the governor undermined exactly what the state legislature did there. But shouldn't the state legislature of Pennsylvania take up this case? How was Texas harmed in this?
So, yeah, I would love for the legislature in Pennsylvania to take up this case, but we're harmed because it affects us. It could potentially affect the Senate in Georgia, the way things are going there, and it obviously affected the outcome of our federal elections. And so the citizens of Texas are harmed if other states don't follow their own state legislative laws that are
so good. Seems pretty
really powerful,
cut and dry to me. Let's see. God bless Texas. There might be some more here. I have some. Where am I? Oh, lots of stuff on China. We know that. All right, Louis Gomart's statement. You want to read that on Texas lawsuit?
As exhibited by the thousands of sworn affidavits, blatant constitutional violations, and numerous electronic and mathematical analyses displaying the statistical impossibilities of a Biden win, it is quite clear that this race was stolen from President Trump and the tens of millions of Americans who voted for him. Those Trump voters who cast completely legal and valid votes were strategically disenfranchised by states that violated the U.S. Constitution, their own state constitution, and their own state law. Texas's courage in calling out the unconstitutional changes to election laws made in the 11th hour by Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin should be honored by everyone who wishes to continue to see this country get back to free and fair elections. In the filing this lawsuit, the state of Texas has once again proved its dedication to our nation's sovereign law and ultimately to the will of the American people. Hopefully, a majority of the Supreme Court will show the same reverence for the Constitution that state attorneys general have by joining in this suit. I look forward to more states joining in the fight to preserve our republic in this important lawsuit. May God guide and embolden more election officials to use the tools he has provided to allow us to continue as a free and self-governing republic.
Amen. All right. So this is the Attorney General of Louisiana who has joined this. He says Louisiana citizens are damaged if elections in other states were conducted outside the confines of the Constitution while we obeyed the rules.
So good. So powerful.
Robert Barnes says, so those arguing states have no standing and cannot sue other states for violating the Electors Clause. What is the point of the states agreeing to the Electors Clause if no state can seek remedy when another state violates it?
A right without a remedy is no right at all.
This is the Attorney General of Arkansas who has she is supporting it. She hasn't joined it.
Okay.
I'm Arkansas Attorney General Leslie Rutledge. After reviewing the motion by the state of Texas today to the Supreme Court,
look at her face.
I've determined that I will support the motion by the state of Texas in all legally appropriate manners. Arkansans and Americans have had real concerns about the integrity of the federal election process in 2020. The integrity of our elections is critical and paramount to the success of the United States of America.
I love how it bounced back to her little smile there. Oh, and you guys probably couldn't hear that very well. I'm telling you, my stuff is coming tomorrow. Now, the screen of Leah bouncing back and forth on me is not going to change. I'm still going to have to figure out what I can do about this.
The Supreme Court gives the states of Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin until 3 p.m. Thursday to respond to the filing in Texas.
And then what? Like, if they don't respond...
Mm-hmm. Let me read to you a little bit of what's in the
Texas
suit.
versus PA.
All right. So the effect of this unconstitutional change in Georgia election law, which made it more likely that ballots without matching signatures would be counted, had a material impact on the outcome of the election. Specifically, there were 1,305,659 absentee mail-in ballots submitted to Georgia in 2020. There were 4,786 absentee ballots rejected in 2020. This is a rejection rate of 0.37.
It's crazy.
In contrast, in 2016, the rejection rate was 6.42. with 13,677 mail-in ballots being rejected out of 213,000. So there were three times as many mail-in ballots rejected in 2016, with a quarter, looks like even less than a quarter.
Oh my gosh.
Less than a quarter of the votes. So the rejection rate in Georgia should be, I'd say, 30, it should be...
If the rejection rate was 6.42.
About 55,000 at least should have been rejected. At least. But what people say is that 6.2 rate is a small number of people who are probably used to mail-in ballots.
Exactly. You add in, now we've expanded it to like 50% of the population is now voting by mail.
It should be probably 10%. So you're looking at throwing out at least 100,000.
Right.
At least. Donald Trump blows through this thing.
Yes.
And here's the thing. Some Republican ballots probably were thrown out too, but we know that Democrats voted
by mail in a larger number.
All right. So, which is 17 times greater than 2020. If the rejection rate of mailed and absentee ballots remained the same in 2020, it would have been 83,517 less tabulated ballots in 2020. The statewide split between absentee ballots was 34% for Trump, 65% for Biden, rejecting at the higher rate. With the 2020 split between Trump and Biden would decrease Trump votes by 28,000 and Biden by 54,000, which would be a net gain for Trump of 25,000. This would be more than the needed to overcome the Biden advantage. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Bring it. Bring it. We're going to go to that right before we go. All right. Here is Attorney General Steve Marshall of Texas, who here's my statement on the state of Texas motion. The state of Texas has filed a motion to the Supreme Court requesting permission to sue 4 states over voting irregularities in those states during this year's presidential election. It is my expectation that the court will act quickly in deciding whether to grant the state of Texas's request. That decision will instruct me as to how the state of Alabama, will proceed in our fight to ensure election integrity. The unconstitutional actions and fraudulent votes in other states not only affect the citizens of those states, they affect the citizens of all states in the entire United States. Every lawful vote counted or lawful vote uncounted debases every unlawful vote counted or lawful vote uncounted debases and dilutes citizens' free exercise of the franchise. The state of Alabama will continue to pursue any legal remedy available to protect her people from such disenfranchisement. Both our rights and our republic demand it. So there's Alabama's statement. So we got Louisiana, Arkansas, and Alabama there. Alabama. We know South Carolina's on there. All right. And before we go, I'm not going to go too much into the China thing for right now. I feel like that is that's a whole nother ball game. But what I do want to do is listen to the COVID-19 medical doctor with expertise in virology and unimpeachable expert credentials blast the media and politicians for pushing COVID-19 hysteria.
It's just a radio, just leave it. That's small.
Oh, okay. Well, we would love to hear from you. The floor is yours.
Let me see again.
Hodkinson, I just want to let you know I'm standing by.
Oh, okay. Well,
standing by. Okay, there's a witness here.
We would love to hear from you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate the opportunity to address you on this very important matter. What I'm going to say is
I believe this is in Canada. Dr. Roger Hodkinson. Sorry, I made it big because I wanted to see where it was.
Just leave it off.
Language and blunt. It's counter-narrative. And so you don't immediately think I'm a quack. I'm going to briefly outline my credentials so that you can understand where I'm coming from in terms of knowledge base in all of this. I'm a medical specialist in pathology, which includes virology. I trained at Cambridge University in the UK. I'm the ex-president of the pathology section of the Medical Association. I was previously an assistant professor in the Faculty of Medicine doing a lot of teaching. I was the chairman of the Royal College of Physicians of Canada Examination Committee in Pathology in Ottawa. But more to the point, I'm currently the chairman of a biotechnology company in North Carolina selling a COVID-19 test. And you might say I know a little bit about all of this. The bottom line is simply this. There is utterly unfounded public hysteria driven by the media and politicians. It's outrageous. This is the greatest hoax ever perpetrated on an unsuspecting public. There is absolutely nothing that can be done to contain this virus other than protecting older, more vulnerable people. It should be thought of nothing more than a bad flu season. This is not Ebola. It's not SARS. It's politics playing medicine, and that's a very dangerous game. There is no action of any kind needed other than what happened last year when we felt unwell. We stayed home, we took chicken noodle soup, we didn't visit Granny, and we decided when we would return to work. We didn't need anyone to tell us. Masks are utterly useless. There is no evidence base for their effectiveness whatsoever. Paper masks and fabric masks are simply virtue signaling. They're not even worn effectively most of the time. It's utterly ridiculous.
It's utterly ridiculous.
I'll send that to my prayer group. They're going to love to see that. Isn't that amazing? He said it's the greatest hoax ever. And masks don't work. And I don't want to say it too loud because we get off.
Well, yeah.
Because all the virtue signalers.
Yeah. All the Karens out there.
So, as a side note,
you were going to tell the story.
What story?
The Michigan one.
Okay,
it was so good.
Okay, we'll tell the story of Michigan, though. I was going to do the Chinese thing, but I don't forget the Chinese.
Do the Michigan story. It's so fantastic. I was on the edge of my seat.
So, guys, watch Tucker Carlson's segment on China. last night, I'll get to this Michigan one. There's a video that's come out that basically the Chinese admit on video, and like their national TV, you know, it looked kind of nice, and it looked like ABC 60 Minutes or whatever, or I don't know. Anyways, they said everything went downhill after Trump because they had such great relations with the inner circle of the government before Trump, and the Trump's trade wars threw everything for a loop. And he even mentioned Hunter Biden said, how do you think he got to all the places he got?
And then with a little smile and a twinkle in his eye.
We put him there. We had inner circles. We had all these ins everywhere. And then this Chinese spy is like running some sort of super PAC and like funding Eric Swalwell while he went around, you know, with Mr. Fartman. Sorry, because he's the guy who poofed on air. Saying that Donald Trump was a Russian agent, where you can see when people are just lying, just glazed over lying. And he was doing that glazed over lying look because he was literally being bought by China.
Sure.
So that's the China story. The Michigan story is very funny. So a guy named Bailey gets a lawyer.
George Bailey.
McPherson.
His name's not George.
He sues Michigan. He's from, I believe he's in Antrim County, to get some IT people to look at those Dominion machines in Michigan. So he gets a court order to be able to look at 22 machines. So he pulls together an IT. He's got to pull together an IT team. 7 guys. We don't know who they are. But he pulls together this team, and the county administrator, he wants in on the weekend, and the county administrator says, no, you can't come in until Monday. He's like, well, I want to come in where nobody's there. And so like he works to try to keep him out. And they got the other county
commissioner,
not the county commission, the board. There's a board.
Okay.
The county board was like, you got elections board, I think, was like, you got to let him in. You got to let him in. So finally he gets in on Sunday. And this county administrator is like trying to dox and take pictures, and they're like,
not only that, but the county administrator had contacted Dominion saying,
said, you better get down here. You got to get down here.
But at this point, I'm not saying Dominion do anything. I want to say in Michigan, the House chair has said to the Dominion CEOs, if you don't come in, you're getting subpoenaed. I don't think they're even going to show up for a subpoena. I think they've left the country.
They're not Americans, so the head guys are Canadian.
Right.
So, yeah, because I think they really know, they're
done. They're like, I don't need to go to jail for this. I was just trying to make some money. I'll start another fraudulent company and do something else that makes me fake money.
Right, exactly. So, in the midst of all this township guy, this county administrator, he is like trying to taking pictures of them, trying to dox them, and the guys go to him and say they demand he delete their pictures of them all because he's trying to get the Democrats in, he's trying to get Dominion people in. Here's the thing: if you aren't guilty, you would just say, okay,
do your thing.
But when you're calling Dominion and you're acting like some sort of freak and you don't want people to look at it, like I wouldn't care. Look at the machines. I knew, like in 2016, look at the machines. I know Donald Trump won. I don't care, right? Match the signatures. I don't care. I know he won. And they did get a chance to examine the machines, and we still have to wait for the report. We have not gotten the report yet from these men. So it's up in the air. But
Mark makes a good point here. If those machines were hooked up to the internet, they would have wiped the machines remotely.
Here's the question. Were they unplugged after the election? Were they changed after the election?
But even with that, though, I think that I was always taught, somebody can correct me that's far more technologically savvy than me, there's always a trail.
There's always a trace.
And so if they did, even if they did get in there and they erased it or they changed it or whatever, it would show that.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I mean, and then again, that's a smoking gun in and of itself.
Listen, these guys are good, but they're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And when you're dealing with machines, nobody's perfect. And so, while the whole Supreme Court...
That is not the end of the story.
What was the end of the story?
The Patriots and you told it last night.
Tell the end.
Tell us your story.
Okay, so then at the end,
I promise you,
when they were
children,
done-
Leah tells a better story than this.
Well, I read it.
You told
Okay, I don't have that kind of memory.
No, you
So at
told
the
it.
end, when it was all done, they had sheriffs. The sheriffs of Antrim County drove the IT experts to the airport as a guard, and Patriots drove Bailey and the lawyer like 8 hour, I don't know how long, but like halfway home to
And
protect
not
them.
only that,
and they said,
Here
oh
it
no.
comes.
And
they were waiting overnight, watching the whole weekend in the cold.
In the cold, they were watching. I
These
should have
Patriots
brought up
took
the article.
shifts and everything.
I should have brought up the article because
I was listening or like on the edge of my seat with this story. And now, at least you got my enthusiasm about it. It was so exciting. It was like he was like reading a spy novel, and the Patriots, they took shifts in the cold to watch to make sure that nothing was going and coming from the buildings when they couldn't get in until Monday. And you're seeing all these Patriots that are taking videos and of all of this stuff in all of these key states. And I'm just so proud of them. And I told Leah, I said, if I lived in one of these counties, I'd be taking a shift. I'd be down there with my camera.
Yeah.
Doing all kind of crazy stuff. You're going to try and sing a song?
I was going to.
Mike Whitney says, flash drives and hard drives are hard to erase completely. You cannot mess up my system, man.
That was an accident.
Oh, man. I got this everything is all set up like totally different than it was before. Anyway, Mike says, flash drives and hard drives are hard to erase completely. They leave residual aspects of the old data that can be retrieved. Walter says, I know this. The election doesn't come out the right way via the Supreme Court or Congress, then they will have innocent American blood on their hands because the Patriots will go to war over this.
They will. This is,
Mark King says, I can't even listen to Biden speak. I feel like China is trying to take over in a Cold War. And Tying Agreement says they didn't have time to bleach everything.
That's
you got
true.
that right.
So we'll have to cover China another time.
Ross Boyd says there are protection laws protecting the machines, and someone has to answer for the lack thereof. And Redneck says they keep asking, "Where's your evidence?" Well, there it is. You said it, my friend. You said it.
All right, guys, give me some Christmas songs. What do you want to hear? We'll do one or two.
Okay, let's wait. There's a 30-second lag on the chat here.
I always think of them, and I'm not thinking of any right now.
Oh, Little Town of Bethlehem.
Did we sing? Oh,
I don't think we sang that one. It just came to mind.
it just came to my mind.
One thing they teach you in radio is in television there should never be a silence. Well, guess what? Sometimes there's a silence on our show. Sorry, guys.
Very rarely. We talk pretty good.
First Noel.
That's a good one.
Says Applemark. Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. Redneck. I'm telling you, any song but that, I will sing a hippopotamus for Christmas before that one. I'm got to tell you.
Can I have your
cannot even.
Never mind. I got it. Tar tuna.
Yeah, can't. It's a rough one.
That's not.
All right, so while Leah's tuning that, I'll go ahead and do the end of the show stuff, even though we're going to sing. Please like, comment, and subscribe to both of our channels, Resistance Chicks and Mass Faith 3. We should be back to Mass Faith 3 by the end of the week, but I think, and I haven't confirmed this with Leah, we may just continue to live stream here and upload on Mass Faith 3. For now, I think that would be the best thing that wouldn't rock the boat. And also, we're actually gaining subscribers on this channel, whereas on our Mass Faith 3 channel, while we were gaining subscribers over the election coverage, the percentage was not as great because I think it's like YouTube must look at that channel that we have, and for every 2 subscribers that we gain, they pull 3. I don't know how the math works, but it's pretty insane.
It is pretty.
Mary, Did You Know is one of those songs that we will sing after practicing. We're not going to wing that one. And we usually do try to sing it once a year. What are we singing? What did we, Oh, Little Town of Bethlehem? Is that what you decided on?
Yeah, I did. You did. I'm going to go up a little bit here.
I said that. I guess I did say it, didn't I?
Oh, little town of Bethlehem. Is that high? So high? Bethlehem.
I'm gonna let you figure it out. I'll just join in when you're ready.
Well, you always help me.
Yeah, but you don't ever like the ones that I pick, the keys I choose.
What do you mean? I'm trying. But I picked the key. Now you see if you can find it. It's not that I don't like the keys you choose.
I'm pulling this up so they can sing with us here. Give me 1 second.
I can make it lower.
All right.
This is too high.
Just play it. Keep going. Did you go faster and then I'll catch it? Just play it like normal without your fancy stuff so we can get to where we're at on the key.
Above thy
just play it. Can you just play the song? No, just play it. Strum the guitar. No, I got. Okay, that's it. The everlasting light, the hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight.
Okay, is that good?
It's high, but we'll do it.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie above thy deep and dreamless.
Do you know the chords?
Well, I took my glasses. I took my.
And you can't make it bigger? I'll
my-
scroll it for you. Just make it bigger.
I took my contacts out. I
Okay,
can't
I'll scroll.
see.
It scrolls actually with you. Do you see that?
Oh yeah. I can make it lower. Is it too high?
No, it's fine. Just play the daggum song.
Okay.
Unless
Okay.
you don't have the chords.
I can bring it. I can transpose it lower.
It's fine.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie above thy deep and dreamlessly the silent stars go by. Yet in thy dark street shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. For Christ was born of Mary and gathered all above, while mortals sleep, the angels keep their watch of wandering love. Oh, morning stars together proclaim the holy birth, and praises sing to God our King, and peace to men on earth. How silently the wondrous gift is given. So God imparts to human hearts the blessings of His heaven. No ear may hear His coming word in this world of sin, where meek souls will receive Him still. The dear Christ enters in. Oh, holy. Whoa! It just went up.
Oh,
It
we
went
did a
up.
key change?
No, we can't go any higher. We can't. I can just play. You can sing it. Oh, high. Oh, holy child of Bethlehem, descend to us, we pray. Cast out our sin and enter. Be born to us today. We hear the praise messengers, the great glad tidings tell. Oh, come
right, we have so many requests. Let me go back here. I'm trying to do ones we haven't done yet. So if I don't do yours, it's because I'm trying to go in order of who said it first. What child is this? We did that one already, right?
Yeah, we'll be playing those on a repeat.
Did we do Away in the Manger?
Yeah.
Okay. It came upon a midnight clear.
Yeah.
We did not do that one.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Whatever.
You got one more?
I'm going. Hang on. Let's see.
This is still playing.
Apple Mark says, these two are precious. It's like watching C-3PO and R2.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
I think Pat agrees with that. What? Oh, you're pushing the door out on the front. There you go. Let's see. I think that's it. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Mm-hmm. I actually really like that song.
I do too. I like Jingle Bells.
We haven't done Jingle Bells yet.
Well,
are you sure we did? It came upon a midnight clear. It came upon a midnight clear.
Well,
I don't remember doing it. Maybe we did.
I think we did, but
Oh, Holy Night is always a winner, says Curious Man. Did we do that one? We did that one already. And Mary, did you know? Like I said, we got to practice that one. Frosty the Snowman. I like that one too. Little Drummer Boy was awesome the other night. Silent Night. Hallelujah. Someone asked for that the other day. Lee and I will do that one, even though we've never done it before on our show because I'm not a huge fan, but we will. Once Upon a Midnight Dreary.
Where are we at?
Just play it and I'll find you.
I think I need to go. It's low here. This is a low version. Can you start singing somewhere? I will find you if you just start singing it.
When you do the picking and the slow stuff and you play one chord, I can't find it. I want to find it, but I have to have more than one chord. I don't know why this won't go back. I just had that. That's so weird. That you guys are willing to stick with us during our practicing of
You're
Christmas
not even
caroling.
trying.
I'm not finding it there. The glorious
No, from To Touch Their Harps on the
okay.
To touch. To hear the angels sing.
Nope, that's not it.
You know what? Let's. And maybe this one is hard to me because I don't really.
So
sing
here's
very
what
well
it's telling me. It's telling me that we did not sing this one already.
That's true.
You said we did, and I'm gonna go with we did not. Raise your hand if you agree with me that we did not sing this.
It came upon a midnight clear, that glorious song of all, from angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth, goodwill to men, from heaven, all gracious King. Will you sing it a cappella now that I remember? The world in solemn stillness sleigh to hear the angels sing. Still through the cloven skies they come with peaceful wings unfurled, and still their heavenly music floats o'er all the weary world. Above its sad and lowly plains they bend on hovering wing, and ever o'er its babel sounds the blessed angels sing. Oh, ye beneath life's crushing load, whose forms are bending low, who soar along the climbing way with painful steps and slow. Now, for now, and glorious hours come swiftly on the wing. Oh, rest beside the weary road and bear the angels sing. You could bear them or you could hear them.
Well, we have two different sheets up. Why can't they stick with some like solid lyrics that are always the same? That's not it.
I thought maybe I could just find it. Like,
I'm sorry.
It'd be fun if I could.
Was
just
there
find
one
it
more
from
you
here.
guys had that we have not sung?
It came. No, where is it?
Hang on, I'm going back. God rest ye, merry gentlemen, says Tony. You know what? Every time I'm going to put something in your head. You can thank Leah for this. We sing God rest ye, merry gentlemen.
The glorious song of all.
That's good.
From angels bending near the earth to touch their hearts of gold. Peace on the earth, goodwill to men, from heaven's all gracious King. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing.
All right, I promise, Tony, God rest ye. Merry, God rest. We're going to put that first. Rest ye, merry gentlemen. Okay. This is going to get stuck in your head from now on. You're never going to hear it the same way. Y'all know my name, right? When we sing it around here, a lot of times I go, God rest ye, Michelle Svensson.
No, I sing that.
You're never getting that
Hey,
out of your
I
head
sing
now.
that about you.
I
You
know.
don't sing about yourself. That's
I
what
do know. I find myself doing it sometimes, actually, because you
Doesn't
started
pick up here.
There's always. Okay, here's the problem with that. Every time you ask for a
Every
pick,
time
and
the
I give
angel
you one,
bell rings, the angel gets winged.
and I'm running out of picks in the little pick bowl, you have to start replacing that. Where do they go?
Just put my hair.
Okay.
Merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Does that transpose?
We can go down.
At all?
We can go down.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna sing that so the guys can sing with us.
God rest ye, merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort The shepherds had those tidings, rejoiced in much
We don't have those
in
lyrics.
mind, and left their flocks a feeding in tempest, storm, and wind, and went to Bethlehem straightway as the Son of God. This blessed
How
babe
are
to find.
these lyrics not the same?
The blessed babe or Son of God to find. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. And when they came to Bethlehem, where our dear Savior lay, they found him in a manger where oxen feed on hay. His mother Mary kneeling down unto the Lord did pray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Now to the Lord sing praises, all you within this place, and with true love and brotherhood each other now embrace. This holy tide of Christmas time all others doth deface. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
All right. I love Winter Wonderland. I love Jingle Bells. And then Redneck's got
I found it.
Rudolph. You found what?
The one, the key that probably wouldn't kill us.
She was trying to kill us. Leah tries to kill me every Christmas. She likes those high ranges. Curious Man says expand your
No.
range. Sometimes if you just want to sing one more time.
Rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. From God our heavenly Father, the blessed angel came, and unto certain shepherds brought tidings of the same. How that in Bethlehem was born the Son of God by name. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Tony says those lyrics are very special and relevant in these times, I think. Nicely done. All right. Curious Man says that's not what I meant. I meant that the songs are expanding your range. Curious Man, we've been singing these songs
My whole life.
my whole life. That's how we can pick up the guitar and kind of make
The
something happen.
problem is actually that we don't sing enough at home, so our ranges have shrunk. They have gone from like woo woo to like this like right here, singing zone.
That's okay.
Singing zone.
So Sagittarian points out, and I have done this. Michelle, you really need to listen to these songs at 1.25 speed. I listen to a lot of YouTube fast, and so I have listened to Leah sing her songs at like 2 times. It's hilarious. It's awesome. It's really good. It's very good. Yeah. You sent a song on Marco Polo that I listened to on 2 times, which was really, really awesome.
Let's just do one last fun song. I
Okay.
actually love Jingle Bells.
So, but then every time I hear Jingle Bells, I want to sing Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Jingle bells, different kind of jingle bells, but we might get to that one too. We'll see.
Let's see if it does. We'll scroll this one.
All right, Patriot Gallery says, replay ASAP when I can re-upload by Created by Divine Design on Mass Faith 3. If you guys are not subscribed to Patriot Gallery's channel, Created by Divine Design, Mass Faith 3, it's really important that you are, because if something happens to both of our channels, that's where you're going to need to go. But you definitely want to be subscribed to that, because she just did a video, I don't know when she's going to upload it, to the rest of the channels last night that was really good. Dagmar King says, I have a smile plastered all over my face. Thank you. I hope it's not because you're, well, okay, you can laugh at us. That's fine.
I'm trying to see if this is, I need to go up or down on this one. I have, like, every
It
year.
sounds like you should go up. Dashing through the snow.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Yeah, I think we should.
I think we should go up a little. And I never ask you to go up.
Every year I tell myself, write down which key you decided to sing this song in, and then we forget.
No, because it's written down in our books and stuff. It's not on Google. Google's not.
No, I don't think that's it. Dashing through the snow.
Go to the Jingle Bell part.
I never do Jingle Bells in A. I never remember doing Jingle Bells in A.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow.
That seems low. That seems
Is
low.
it low? All right, go higher. Oh my gosh. I love that you guys are still here.
Let's try that. Let's keep.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. No.
But I thought that was a D7. It's a C7.
We could go a little lower.
One-horse open sleigh. No, I think this is where we want.
Mike says we should
This
go
is
a
good.
third
This
down.
is good. This is good. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bride was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank. Miss Schwarzen seemed as lot. We ran into a drifted bank, and where we got upside. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, this story I must tell.
Wait a minute, I don't have that one.
Well, then sing with me.
Okay.
I went into the snow, and on my back I fell. A gent was riding by in a one-horse open sleigh. He laughed at me as I lay there and quickly drove away. Oh, jingle bells, me a man, he drove away. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Gotta have a lot of fun. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Now the ground was white.
We need to sing the Bing Crosby version, right?
Now the ground is white. Go it while you're young. Take the girls along and sing a sleighing song.
Just get a bobtail bay, 240 as his speed.
Hitch him to an open sleigh and crack he'll take the lead. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Have a lot of fun. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
You're thinking of when Bing Crosby says,
Oh, we had a lot of fun.
yeah.
Oh, we had a lot of fun. Does he say it in there? In the songs? Bing Crosby. Oh, we had a lot of fun. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we have to go.
We had a lot of fun.
Okay, we did have a lot of fun. You done?
I'm done.
You really done?
I'm done.
Okay, I'm taking the lyrics away. Okay, we're going to sign off. I hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's variety show. of Resistance Chicks, where you never know what you're going to get, especially with Leah. But thank you for a wonderful show. Thank you, Handel's Messiah. Okay, well, first of all, yeah, our church used to do the whole thing. So I'm not sure what kind of justice we could give it, but we might give it a try. So, like I said, guys, email me your suggestions to massfaith33@gmail.com so that I have them and I can give them to Leah and we can be a little bit, try and be prepared for this. Are we sisters? Yes, that was on Twitter. I think that's obvious. But in case it's not, which that's not a stupid question because I'm taller, okay?
Yeah, because siblings are like
and Leah's
always
shorter,
the same height.
And my face is more long and Leah's is more appley. And so there you go. But I don't think our faces are ever close enough, and Leah's eyes are bigger. Here, bring it in.
We have the Svensson nose.
We can do a comparison here. No, that's not it. Okay. No, bring your face in. Bring your face in. Okay, here. Leah, that's not your face. Now look there. Okay? The nose is the same. The eyes are very similar,
but hers are more Chinesey.
Well, and then I accentuate that with the eyeliner there. But we have similar bone structure. Our foreheads are similar.
And she's got the wingspan of an eagle.
I have. Measure yourself. This is the last tip. This is the fun thing I'm going to give you for the day. I was just thinking about this yesterday. I have superhero powers, and I always knew I had something. Every person has something special, and I've got one. I've got one. I got something special. Your wingspan on everyone is identical to your height.
Exactly.
So if I'm 5'7" and a half, then my fingers are supposed to be 5'7" and a half, give or take a little bit of variation, but it's supposed to be identical.
I'm exactly 5'4" in my wingspan. And we did this one day. I was like, Michelle, she's like, how come you're always asking me to get things?
I'm only 3.5 inches taller than you, but I can reach things like a foot taller.
And then we did this.
They're not going to be able to see. No, that doesn't help when you just
It doesn't work.
Anyway, so we decided to do the measure thing. Apparently, it's rare to be an inch
go like
above
this and
or
let's show them
below.
what it is. Wait, go like this. Put your arm up and we'll show
I can't. I got to bend my hand over to do that.
She can't. She touches the ceiling.
I'm touching the ceiling.
Yeah.
3 inches I've got on my wingspan. That's incredibly rare.
It's very rare.
I'm a superhero. I
very
should be doing something with my monkey arms.
Yep.
Just saying. You should measure. Do this with your whole family.
Everybody else in the family.
Phoebe, you know what I would love to do? I would love for somebody to send me the costumes for White Christmas, the blue ones with the big feathers, for us to sing that song. If someone ever sent the costumes, don't do it. Do not do it. It's got to be given a fortune. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Don't do it. You could better spend your money, give it to homeless people for Christmas. But if I ever had the costumes, if we ever came upon something that would work, I would do. Leah and I would do that routine. I've always wanted to do that routine.
We may have done it in our own living room.
We've done it,
times.
yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, Leah. Remember R2 D2 took down the Death Star.
Comes between me and my sister, and Lord help the sister who comes between me and my man.
When you have the things, and it's better actually when Bing and the other guy does it.
It's way
White
better.
Christmas, best Christmas movie, hands down, my favorite.
All right,
we're gonna. I just measured. It's true. Curious man. Thank you. You thought we were kidding?
Curious man.
You thought we were kidding? I tell you no lies.
No, he was curious. Wanted to find out. Am I like a
Oh yeah, a blue Christmas.
I'll have a blue Christmas without you.
I don't actually. I like that song, but the ooh part I don't like.
Blue, ooh, just thinking without you.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree won't mean the same thing.
Dear, if you're not here with me.
With me, 'cause we're having a
anybody that was left just left.
Christmas.
They've exited the building.
Without
They've literally,
you.
Elvis has left the building. They've all left us. Okay, so my superpower, Ann says, is my legs are freakishly short for my body height. So that happens. to people. Freakishly short. I would like to see that one. But all right, so we're going to sign off. We'll be back here probably tomorrow night because I'm sure stuff will happen. We will pray at the end. Hang on, I want to do my spiel here, but for sure we'll be here on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Sunday at 1. Leave your comments. I want to see comments. I love. What a depressing song. Phoebe, you're not wrong. It's not that great. Yeah.
No, I'm
Christmas.
having a happy.
Oh, Mike Whitney. Chris. How's that go? Christmas Time is Here, the Charlie Brown. I just had it in my head and then it vanished. That's a good one. That is a really good one. Okay. We're going to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for everything that is going on around the world, but specifically here in our United States with the election and the fraud.
Amen.
I thank you that you are going to get the glory when all of this gets exposed. I thank you that all the right people are going to go to jail and more people like Flynn will get exonerated and President Trump, they'll never be able to come after him and attack him ever again. I thank you that revival is spreading across this country. We're having an awakening. I lift up the Jericho March to you, Father God, and I just thank you that you are going to show up, that these walls are going to come down, and we are going to enter into and take the land. It is our job as Christians to spread the gospel, to advance the kingdom, and we are tearing down all of the devil's strongholds. We're tearing them down on the internet. We're tearing them down in the public square. We are tearing them down everywhere we come across them. You will get the glory when all is said and done, and even throughout. We lift this election up to you. We give it into your hands. I lift up our viewers to you, that you will give them wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that they will be able to maintain hope and joy, and you will give them the words to speak to those around them, to not only give them wisdom and knowledge, but to give other people hope and joy. In your precious Son's name we pray, Jesus. Amen. Okay, we're going to sign off. We love you guys. God loves you. God bless. And we'll see you guys back tomorrow, probably. And if not, I'll just do a little update of whatever has happened throughout the day. I just need to say this. Tonight, this system has, I think, aside from the audio, which we're still working on that, but this mic is amazing. Even Apple Mark says, I noticed that I'm not noticing all the cracking of how bad it was before. I'm just listening and enjoying. And someone else said yes. So it is a far cry better. So
it's just natural cracking that you were hearing. We
exactly,
can't blame it on the microphone.
Exactly. But tonight it seems
But it was easier just to blame it on the microphone.
This system has gone flawlessly. We were able to stream in high def, which is a first, I think, in a long time, if ever, aside from our cell phones. So really, really excited. So
you can see every freckle on my
No,
face.
it's not that bad.
I did.
Well, the freckles aren't bad. It's the wrinkles that are glaringly. Just kidding. That was a joke. Okay, we love you guys. Good night. Merry Christmas season. Bye, guys.
I was cold all alone. No place for